Okay, should be live. Yeah, for anybody who's here already, this is kind of a spur of the moment live. I just wasn't intending at all to be doing a live stream today, but I decided, you know what, finish work early. Bugger all to do. I'm kind of sitting around, scratching my balls, scratching my arse. I figured, you know what, I'll jump on a live. Why not? Why not, eh? So yeah, what's happening? Oh yeah, I've turned around my computer now, so got the light coming in from the window. So no more sitting in the dark, I guess. Yeah, still in my pajamas for this one. Hi Nordic. Oh, how's it going, man? Do you like my profile picture? I can't actually see it. Um, I can't see it very well. Sorry, I don't know if there's a way to enlarge it. Chances are there might be, but I don't know. Hold on a second. That's what happens when they cancel me. I really wanna see that now, but I can't see it. It's just too small. I'm trying to enlarge it, but I don't know how you do that on, I don't know how you do that on StreamYard. Still working this out. It's weird, I've been using StreamYard that long, you'd think I'd have figured it out by now. But no, there's a lot about it I still don't get. Whoopee, yeah, how's it going? Yo, good to see you here. No audio. Was it no? Oh no, right. Oh, were you saying that before I jumped on? Yeah, because what I did there was I started the live, but I wasn't in the studio yet. I think that's why there was no audio. But yeah, like I said, this is kind of a disorganized one. I just threw this together last minute. Wasn't gonna stream today. Yeah, what's happening, Revel? Good to see you here, man. God bless you. No audio. So, is there any audio? Can you guys actually hear me? Like, again, I forgot to do my usual thing where because I just assumed the microphone was working. Like, can you guys hear me all right? Or am I tripping? Am I talking to myself? Have I been talking to myself the past 3 minutes? Oh yeah, you hear me. All right, cool. I was a little bit concerned then. All right, it's all good. But yeah, I'll just get settled. I'll pour myself a drink, and then we'll get started. So yeah, where is it? Oh crap! What did I do with my cup? I'll be back in a second. Let me grab my cup. Okay, here it is. So yeah, I'll give you guys a few seconds to guess what I'm going to be drinking. So it's going to be out of this, and there we are. See, that's nice and condensed. Nice and condensed, just how I like it, as always. Sounds all good. All right, awesome, awesome, nice one. That's what I like to hear, of course. Yeah, how's it going, man? I'm hearing rumors that Tank is demanding 40 million to fight 40 million to fight Loma. Yeah. Yeah, because he totally wants to fight, because Loma's totally ducking. Loma's totally ducking the fight, isn't he? Yeah, and I bet you Loma ain't asking for anywhere near 40 million. But he's the one that's ducking. Because Tank got mo skill, he mo athletic. Right. Oh, that's so good. Been waiting for that all day. Oh. Alright, where was I? Let's find where we are. Sounds all good? Awesome. Again, that's what I like to hear. The migrants caused a riot in Leeds. Diversity is our strength. Right wing Zio shows blamed the Muslims, but it was the Roma and the Muslims blamed white people. Do you know, I know nothing about that. I've not even looked into it. I have no idea what's going on in that situation. So it would be unwise and irresponsible for me to even comment on it. I mean, I can probably guess what happened. I can probably guess what it was about, but I don't know enough about the situation to give an informed opinion on it. So, yeah, I can only speculate, but you probably know more about it than I do. Jake Paul versus Mike Perry prediction. Do you know, I knew certain people would kind of take the bait there. Look, I don't know anything about Mike Perry, and I've never watched a Jake Paul fight in my life. I kind of just put that as the thumbnail to kind of bait people into watching this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know nothing about that fight, and I won't be watching it. Yeah. All right. What was I? But yeah. Look, I'm just gonna going off the betting odds. I'm assuming Jake Paul's gonna win because it's probably a setup. You know, he's fighting some random MMA guy, isn't he? And we know how those fights tend to go. You know. I know. 40 million because he's totally not pricing himself out. It's like when he said they're trying to get me beat in response to people asking him to fight Loma. I mean, it's it's a situation where would you say that about somebody you thought you could beat, like who you genuinely believed in yourself against? Would you say they're trying to get me beat? No, you'd come up with some bullshit excuse. Yeah, God bless you too, man. Bud Light, yeah, drinking Bud Light. Imagine, Bud Light's disgusting. I had it one time a couple of years ago. It's minging. Like I like regular Budweiser, but not Bud Light. But no, there we are. Look at that, it's all bubbly. And it's loud. Can you hear it? I don't know if you can hear it in the microphone, but Iron Brew's a very loud and bubbly drink, you know? Oh, it's nice. I remember watching your video on Beevil schooling Canelo, and the part that made me laugh is when you said Canelo was like something different here compared to my previous fights. Well, yeah, the what yeah, that's what he was like. When he went back after the first round, you know, when Bivol just jabbed him in the face for the entirety of the first round, and Canelo was looking at his corner as if to say, he's not supposed to do that. He's supposed to throw it to the side of my head. And then Reynoso's like, listen, Canelo, look, Saul, you got to take one for the team, man. Right, this ain't going to be like the previous fights. It's going to be a bit different, you know. Tank priced himself out when base Turkey offered him the Haney fight. Turkey then roasted him, yeah. He even changed his name to try to get a good deal from Turkey, and then they gave him the name Abdul, which by the way, for those of you who don't know, it means slave. Why are you covering Jake Paul? Yeah, like I said, I'm not covering Jake Paul. I put that as the thumbnail to bait people into clicking the video. You know, we might trigger a few normies with this live, with any luck, you know. You'd think after the years of ducking Tank would have finally have the confidence to fight Loma now that he's older. Yeah, yeah, but Loma in his last fight, despite being older, still showed that he has pretty good stamina, good power. You know, he's still quick, can still go 12 rounds if he needs to. You know, maybe if in his last fight, if he got dropped and looked terrible and showed no stamina, no speed, then maybe Tank would have taken the fight. And you know, all the tards that support him would have been like, yeah, Loma was ducking all them years, but you know, now that he's an old man, he's not ducking all of a sudden. You know, did you hear that Tank Loma news that came out last night? What are you on about? Him asking for 40 million because that's what the boys were talking about earlier. Blame your government, not Muslims. Oh, I always do. I always do. Junto Nakatani. I heard he had a first round knockout. Heard about that. I haven't watched it yet, but I mean to. I would like to see it. Loma manager says Loma isn't feeling motivated to fight Tank this year. Loma wants to start training camp late this year, fight Tank early 2025. Well, that makes sense, I guess. It makes sense. You know, give both guys plenty of time to train, but starting to think it won't happen. I mean, they're not gonna pay Tank 40 million, are they? Normie behavior Nordic doing a Jake Paul live. Listen, mate, I'm playing four-dimensional chess. I'm like 10 steps ahead of you the whole time, man. I'm like 10 steps ahead. And I got these normies wrapped around my little finger. I own these people. I own them. They're my property, you know. Some white British guy decided to join the writing, and it took a Muslim to tell him to stop. Ah. A lot of people like joining riots. They don't really necessarily need to know what the riot's about. It's just an excuse to go out and smash some windows and do some looting, innit? I mean, you can kind of see the appeal. You're a Jake Paul fanboy, don't lie, Nordic. Yeah, yeah. I secretly love Jake Paul, man. You'll see me with like posters of him on my wall and everything. Imagine that. I'll be like Briadis and get a Jake Paul tattoo. Imagine that. Mike Perry is a low IQ knucklehead, trash MMA fighter, but a good bare knuckle fighter. Yeah. I don't know much about him personally. Shout out to Del Boy, by the way. Good to see you here, man. But yeah, God bless you. I don't know much about Mike Perry. Don't know much about him at all. But just going off the betting odds, I'm assuming it's a mismatch. You know, I'm assuming he's probably gonna take a dive or something. Who knows? Yeah, Jake Paul, the fraud weight bully. Well, I mean, he just picks on he just picks on little, washed up MMA guys, don't he? And basketball players and stuff, and guys who just don't know what they're doing in a boxing ring, basically. Yeah, if Tank's like I said before, if Tank's demanding 40 mil, he's not gonna fight Loma because again, that's just pricing himself out. Unless he's just planning to be really, really nitpicky in the negotiation, because there's no way they're gonna pay him that. I don't think. Lose the mustache. No, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it. I haven't had a shave in years. I'm trying to grow a beard, but I can't. What inspired the mustache? I've had it for years. No, I've had it for years. I don't shave. I just can't grow a beard. It's impossible. I guess I don't have the genetics to grow a beard for some reason, and I end up with like a little Steve Collins goatee or whatever. I don't even think about it. It's just there, you know. Canelo probably complained about the judges as well. Well, yeah, because after the fight, even though Canelo pretty much lost every round, he climbed up on the corner post and was celebrating and acting as if he won. So he's just a self-entitled brat, a spoilt brat. That's what he is. So yeah, it just goes to show you that when you get a guy who's coddled and protected and given everything he wants, and then all of a sudden he has a real fight, he just can't handle it mentally because he hasn't developed over the years, you know? Yeah, that's rumored, but check the latest info. I'm not saying it would happen, even if Loma didn't supposedly say it. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Tan Davis versus Marquez. Marquez would absolutely batter him. He'd school him for every single second of every round and probably beat him on points. Maybe a late stoppage. But yeah, complete mismatch. Is Devin a black tard? Also, who else is? Well, yeah, of course Devin's a black tard, and I guess his dad's one and all his fans, you know, even the white ones. Oh, Daniel Dubois versus Zili Zhang. I would go with Zhang by a devastating knockout, and I think that big Chinaman would sort of circle around Daniel's lead hand, and then he would just slip a left hand down the middle and Daniel would crap his pants and probably quit. I think that would be like a knockout inside of 5 rounds easily. So yeah, if it was a real fight, that is, yes. Yeah, he whips his ass. Boots Ennis looked easily 2 stone heavier than Avanesian, yeah. Yeah, Boots Ennis is another one of these fighters where I find it very, very hard to believe that the, official weights of him of his career are real because, again, it reminds me of Adrian Broner when he was fighting at lightweight, when he fought the likes of Gavin Rees. Broner just he looked at least 2 divisions higher as far as I could tell, He didn't look, he didn't look anywhere near close to him in terms of weight, and it's not even just like one guy was like bulked up and the other guy was his natural weight. No, you look at Gavin Rees, and he's a guy who had clearly cut weight, right? He went onto the scales looking quite thin and quite drawn. Whereas if you look at a guy like Broner, he was on the scales looking like a bodybuilder, and you could tell he hadn't really trained that hard to make weight. So to me, it's a situation where you could have rigged scales because I don't know how else to rationalize it. Can't wait to see Frank's face when AJ knocks out his love child, Dubum. Yeah, I can't envision that fight going another way than Dubois getting completely blown out because I was gonna make a prediction video for it, but I thought there was really no point because to me it's just such a standard fight that anything I could say in a video, I could just cover on these lives. Because basically, what you got with that fight is you've got two guys who are very similar. You've got AJ and Dubois. They're both big guys. They're both strong. They're both muscular. They both got a lot of power, and they both rely on sort of long range boxing. Right? They've got that classic upright European style. But the problem is AJ is just a little bit better in every area. He's taller, longer reach, slightly bigger puncher. He's more experienced, physically stronger. He's shown more heart in his career than Dubois has. So to me, it's a situation where both guys are very similar and bring a lot of the same attributes to the table, but one guy's just a little bit better in every area. That's how I see that fight. So I can't see it. Like I said, I can't see it going any other way than it sort of descending into a bit of a shootout early on and Dubois getting taken out. That's what I think will happen. I think it will be a knockout for Anthony Joshua, and whether or not it happens early in the fight for me depends on the approach that AJ takes. Like, what does AJ want to go in there and make a statement, or does he want to just mess about and get the rounds in? That's how I see it. Because you never know with AJ. You could get a performance like the Dillian White fight where he's seek and destroy, and then you could get a performance like, say, the Hellenius fight where he's just messing about and a little bit gun shy. You just never know. Yeah, not motivated equals Loma wants more money to dive. Yeah, yeah, wouldn't surprise me at all. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. I mean, it's not like it hadn't been done before, isn't it? Yeah, Nakatani first round knockout, straight right to the stomach. I'm gonna need to watch that. But yeah, I heard it was a first round knockout, so looking forward to it. Nakatani might actually be, I'd say he might be the second best fighter in Japan, right after obviously Inoue. Inoue is obviously more accomplished and more proven at this stage, but Nakatani, he's not far behind him. I would have said Aoka, but obviously he's completely shot now, and we saw that from his last fight, and he hasn't looked good in a while, in my opinion. He hasn't looked that motivated. He looks as if he's getting up there in age, and I don't really see him coming back at that same level. So I would have had him at number two, but I think now Nakatani is. I think he's the guy right now that's like second to Inoue alone. I think Tank beats Loma by decision, but that's just me. Well, I mean, if he wins by decision, then it has to be some sort of rigged fight or just predetermined scorecards because there's no way he can outbox. Um, there's no way he can outbox Loma. Not legitimately, anyway. In my opinion, he has to catch him with a lucky punch. Like I don't see another way. Sorry, I don't see another way he could win that legitimately. I don't. I wouldn't mind if Loma retires. Guys like Shakur trying to catch him past his prime. That's what they're all doing. None of these guys were in a rush to fight Loma 7 or 8 years ago, were they? But they're all Billy Big Bollocks all of a sudden. So I've heard. I've heard it's mostly Muslims. I don't know. I don't know nothing about it. So I'm not going to comment on it. I can only speculate. I'm very feel music. Yeah, Usyk's a funny guy, isn't he? I am very feel. I am very feel. Greedy belly. I am very feel. I remember your Canelo is a fraud video when you took the piss out of the UK commentators saying, "Oh, the class." Yeah, that's what they used to say all the time with Mayweather. Well, whenever Mayweather was fighting, every single round, like instead of calling the action, they'd be like, "Oh, the class, the skill, and the class." And it's just bloody annoying. The class of Floyd Mayweather, the class. And they say the same thing about Canelo. Like some British fighter, like a bloody Callum Smith or whoever would be like preparing to fight Canelo and like, oh, he's working so hard. He really wants this. He's gonna give it a good go. He's gonna go in there, put it all on the line. But can he deal with the class? The class. Articles coming out saying Loma's ducking. Tank can't talk here. Oh well. What can we say? I don't think Turkey would offer Tank 40 million. Nah, of course not. Like, I mean, look, I'm not saying Turkey hasn't got that kind of money to waste. Like, if anybody can afford to waste it, it's him. But again, what incentive does he have to give Tank Davis that kind of money? Does Tank Davis have anywhere near that kind of clout? Like, could he not live without desperately having Tank Davis, on his schedule, whatever you call it, as one of the fighters to do business with? I mean, he's not that big a draw, is he? Turkey's got bigger names and bigger draws to work with. So I can't see him throwing that sort of money at Tank Davis. I can't grow a beard too. Yeah, I've never been able to grow one. As you can see, I've got like a little Chinese, whatever you call it, mustache, and like them little Wolverine chops. That's all I can get. I haven't had a shave in about 5 years. I'm not even kidding. I just ignore it. I don't even really care what I look like in that sense. And yeah, doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me one bit. But I tried growing a beard for so long and I can't do it. I'm never gonna look like like a badass Viking. So well, never gonna happen. All right. They say Tank is making loads of money, yet he wanted two cars about Turkey. I don't know. Well, obviously, compared to Turkey, he's not making a lot of money, is he? How's it going? Yeah, good to see you here, Daniel. Hope everything is well and blessed. I don't know, some introduction. Yeah, the Paul brother is fighting a Perry. Do you have any interest in the Magnificent Seven today? Um, what do you mean? What's the Magnificent Seven? Has that gone completely over my head? I'm not sure what that refers to. My bad. But yeah, the pole fight I've no interest in. I just put it as the thumbnail to bait normies into clicking the video. I'll be honest about it. Top Rank is the one who's making the fight. No way Turkey gets involved unless Aram comes asking. Yeah. Top Rank are the ones promoting it. Turkey would just be broker in the fight. He'd just be putting up the money. Like, I don't think he has anything to do with like the actual promotion and the logistics of it. Hi, Nordic Warrior. Yeah, how's it going, DJ? I think boxing needs more people like Jake Paul to bring in more entertainment and money than most pro boxers that are skilled like Shakur. but isn't a draw to bring entertainment. Well, I disagree because I think if there were if boxing gave us consistent good fights, consistent entertaining fights, and fights that sell themselves, we wouldn't need people like Jake Paul, people with like big internet followings and all that. But boxing would, like I said, it would sell itself if the fights were exciting, and they would be exciting if they were competitive. They would be exciting if we had the best guys in every division fighting each other, if they were forced to fight each other instead of like cherry picking for years and fighting each other when the fight's past its sell by date, which is what tends to happen. And it's something. Look, guys like us have been complaining about it for years and years. We've all given our suggestions for how the sport could be improved and for what could make it more popular, but we're powerless to really do anything as long as there's plenty of casuals out there to support the wrong guys and financially support all the gimmicks, because that's all Jake Paul is to me, a gimmick, right? He's not, he doesn't bring anything substantial to the sport in terms of actual quality. He's just a gimmick. So no, to answer your question, I don't think boxing needs people like Jake Paul. I just think boxing needs some sort of overhaul. Like, fans need to have higher standards for the sport and stop rewarding, cowardly, predatory behavior from these fighters. Stop consuming the product and get excited for next product. Actually have some standards. I don't rate Ben Davison as a trainer. No, me neither. Neither does a lot of people, I don't think. Let me plug my charger in 1 second. Be back in a second. Okay, where was I? Same. I can grow a beard, or I can grow a decent goatee, but can't grow a beard. When I rock the goatee with a skin fade, I look like a Serbian extremist. Yeah, yeah. You look as if you're about to go and join ISIS or something, I'd imagine. Yeah, it's funny. I remember some people used to call me a jihadi when I was trying to grow a beard, and like when I first like got facial hair, and that's what people used to say I looked like. But no, I guess now it's just I don't look like anything. It just looks scruffy. But yeah, I'm the same. I can only get a goatee. That's about it. You know, I like the look though. Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. Cheers. Yeah, how's it going, Quags? Good to see you here, man. Um, where was I? Well, there's quite a lot of comments already. The weights could be real. The guy is probably allowed to take diuretics. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that they're definitely on diuretics because, again, there's no way that a guy the size of Adrian Broner was making 135 naturally. Absolutely no way. I don't believe it for 1 second. And I certainly don't believe it even more so about Boots Ennis. And you can put Haney in that category too, unless they've just got freakish genetics. Zhang's weakness is someone who's small, can move, and have energy in the later rounds, like Forrest or Parker. I actually bet on Parker because of the Forrest fight and won on it. Oh, that's not bad. I was tempted to bet on Parker, but I never went through with it because I just felt it was too, like, that was one of them fights I couldn't call. Parker versus Zhang. Like, I felt Parker had a good chance of winning on points, but I wasn't sure if he'd get through it without getting knocked out because Zhang had that kind of power, and I had that Joe Joyce knockout in the back of my mind. When he was able to knock out Parker. That made that fight tough to call for me, so I didn't bother betting on it. How good is Terence Crawford? He's very good. I mean, overrated, extremely overrated, but still very good. No doubt about that. Yeah, how's it going, man? Good to see you here, Rem. God bless. If Zhang can't get the left hand to land, the follow-up right hook will do the job. Take a look at Joyce, for example. Imagine Dubois getting hit with. Oh yeah, if Dubois was getting hit with those left hands or right hooks that Joyce was able to take, I know Joyce got stopped, but like if those punches landed on Dubois, do you think Dubois stays on his feet? No, of course not. He gets violently laid out in that instance. The bum is more chinny than AJ, and the bum has not been in with a puncher, whereas AJ has. Yeah, AJ's been in with many punchers. He's been in with the likes of Povetkin and Klitschko. So I think it's safe to assume that AJ is more durable and has more fighting heart. Because I mean, AJ went the distance twice with Usyk. Dubois wasn't able to go the distance with Usyk. AJ also has gotten off the canvas to win a fight. Has been hurt in fights and has come back to win. He was hurt badly against Dillian White, was hurt badly against Klitschko, was hurt badly against Povetkin, and was able to hang in there and come back to win. So I think, like I said, it's safe to assume that AJ has more durability and more heart than what Dubois has. I think that's just safe to assume. So yeah, like I was saying before, I just think AJ has a little bit more in every area than Dubois has. Yeah. Hey Joe, chat shit, get banged, get zanged again. Yeah, zang. Hrgovic can punch. Yeah, but Hrgovic isn't as big a puncher as AJ or Zhang. Not even close. I remember Nordic giving AJ praise. Oh yeah, I've given him credit where he's deserved it, and I've criticized him when he's deserved it. Because no fighter is below praise or above criticism. In it. Zhang's right hook is a weapon of mass destruction. The Joyce KO was scary. Yeah, he was able to stop the unstoppable juggernaut. Crazy man. Who would have thought, eh? But yeah, that right hook and the way he set it up was perfect. And again, he positioned Joyce perfectly with the lead left. He got him watching for the lead left. Then he clocked him with the right hook with lightning speed. The one like AJ definitely on something. They're saying Hellenius. Well, yeah, Hellenius failed a drug test, but are you seriously telling me that Hellenius was on something and AJ wasn't? Like, you seriously going to tell me that? Like, there's no way, as far as I'm concerned. I think Zhang's right hook is his best punch. I definitely think it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up between that and the straight left. But I think both of them are pretty good. By the way, it's raining outside, so if you guys can hear, like, noise in the background, it's rain. Yeah, I've got my window open because despite the fact it's raining, it's actually very, very warm. I like the rain. But yeah, I think the right hook could be his best punch. It's a toss-up between the left hook or the straight left and the right hook. I think Nakatani beats Bam. Do you know that would be a fascinating fight? Fascinating fight. For me, a lot of it would depend on the location. Like if it's in Japan, I give him a very good chance of winning. Where it's all above board. Yeah, that's how I see it. I think Nakatani right behind Inoue in terms of like the top Japanese fighters right now. Like I said, I would have said Ioka, but he's shot now, so I put Nakatani right behind Inoue. Oh, that rain's really loud. Sounds like a storm. I don't know, like if there's anybody else in the UK. Is it raining where you are? 'cause it's raining heavily here. I love it. I wanna go outside. Imagine I do a stream in the rain. Nakatani brutalizes Bam. Yeah, he could. Certainly could. The sound of it connecting on Joyce was nasty, yeah. I was concerned like, I'm concerned that Zhili Zhang's hand is okay. After hitting the Juggernaut's head, dangerous. 'Cause he's got a big stone head, hasn't he? He's like one of them big stone idols. The me dum dum, you give me gum gum. That's what hitting Joe Joyce is like. It's like hitting a brick wall. Has Debum's last two fights gave the illusion he has heart and people are going with it? Yeah, they have given the illusion he has heart. But again, you have to look at who he was in the ring with. He was in the ring with Jarrell Miller, a fat, useless bum. And he was in the ring with Hrgovic, who, at least on the night, was basically a jobber with at least the attitude he brought towards the fight. Wasn't in the best shape, wasn't prepared for the fight technically, and didn't really show much heart or willingness to win, did he? So, it's different fighting guys like that and then fighting somebody like Usyk, who's a world-class elite fighter, it's very different. I mean, when it comes to Tank beating Loma on points, you don't have to necessarily outbox your opponent to win on the scorecards. Yeah, I mean, you can just be an American fighting in America, and you'll most likely win on the scorecards as it is. So yeah, that's what it is. Face off with George Chisora was hilarious. I've not seen it. Why? What did they say to each other? Anything interesting? Been ages and ages since I watched one of them face offs. Like for any fighter, really. Canelo's power seems to be diminishing. To be honest, I don't think he ever had that much power to begin with. And I don't think there's been any evidence throughout Canelo's entire career that he's a big puncher. At least not by like middleweight standards. I remember the Beterbiev versus Bivol press conference, and they asked Beterbiev to give Bivol a message, and Beterbiev said, "He know already." That was so funny. I wonder what the message was. Something in Russian. I am going to break you. I must break you. That's the message, isn't it? Jaime Munguia is not the most skilled technically. He had Canelo time earlier. He could have stopped Canelo, got tired in the 6th round like he normally does, but followed the script. Yeah, it was probably just a sparring session. Wouldn't surprise me at all if that's what it was, Oh yeah, Davis should give Cruz a rematch to try and avenge his defeat to Cruz because he lost that fight clearly. It's a robbery. Oh, shout out to your old dog. Good to see you here, man. Been a while. Ethan, brother, I'm making a crazy prediction. Perry beats Paul, then Perry fights McGregor in BKFC on DAZN later this year. Could you imagine that? Like, could you imagine if that happened? If Perry beat Paul, and then him and McGregor end up in BKB? That'd be hilarious, wouldn't it? That's something I'd love to get involved in, man. BKB. Like, it seems like it'd be a lot of fun, I think. But yeah, that would be surprising if that happened. Frank Warren's special card he puts together from time to time. Floyd Mayweather ruined boxing for real. He made losing seem like a career-ending experience and made ducking and cherry-picking more normal. Yeah, well, that's exactly why all these fighters, all these Amero bums and whatnot, are terrified of losing. Because they feel as if they lose once, their market value will completely disappear, and essentially their career's over. Because most of their sycophants will abandon them if that's the case, So yeah, that's why all these bums like Devin Haney are so scared to take a loss. Because they know that they won't have a fan base if they lose, Could you do a video criticizing Adam Booth and his style? If you want me to, I'll definitely consider it if you want me to do that. I think also, like you said, we're paying more expensive pay-per-view price for worse quality fights instead of paying for pay-per-view streaming services like Netflix who stream the fights and we pay. Well, that's kind of the same thing, isn't it, that you have with DAZN? Because DAZN's a streaming service, but they still have pay-per-view in spite of the fact you pay a subscription. I mean, it's always kind of been like that. If you had a subscription to Sky Sports, you would still have to pay pay-per-view for certain events if they say so, you know? Adrian Broner was a weight bully at his peak, but still had some losses that weren't count due to boxing politics known as favoritism. Yeah, well, he clearly lost to Ponce de Leon. Yeah, like Delboy just says here, he clearly lost to Quintero and Ponce de Leon. He lost those fights clearly. I agree, he lost those fights clearly. I notice that Indians tend to grow a beard faster than whites and blacks. Yeah, I wonder why. It must just be it must just be different genetics, I guess. You know, everybody, different races are different, aren't they? Yeah, how's it going, man? Good to see you. I don't have that big of an issue with the Malignaggi fight. Could have gone either way, from what I remember. Been a long time since I've seen it. I think I thought Malignaggi just did enough to win. I thought he just outworked him. Like Broner landed the better shots, but Malignaggi landed so many more shots that I thought he should have won it. But it was probably just a predetermined result, as far as I'm concerned. Like the scorecards were probably pre-written or something. Nordic, would it be gay for two men to hook up with two women at the same time? Let me think about that. Two men to hook up with two women at the same time. I don't know. I'm trying to picture that in my head, like what exactly that means. I don't know. You mean two men with the same woman, and what they share each other or something? I don't know, man. I don't get it. Yeah, the Quintero fight was awful, terrible robbery. That Quintero never fought again after that robbery. Yeah, that's a shame, man. It's a shame. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Just they ruin fighters. Like that's the thing. A lot of people don't get how robberies can literally ruin a fighter's career, take away their entire motivation and drive. You know, Dubois, Daniel Dubois. I always used to think it was funny because do you know John Rawling, the commentator? Whenever he would commentate on Dubois' fights, that's how he would always say it. Like, this is a tremendous test for Daniel Dubois. And that's how he would always pronounce it, Daniel Dubois. And that was kind of where I got that. Hrgovic should try and get a rematch with Daniel Dubois. Yeah, why not? Why not, eh? Joyce is probably one of the most durable chins. It was a bit surprising to see him flatten like that, yeah. Just goes to show you, it doesn't matter how good a chin you have. If you stand right in front of a 284-pound Chinaman and just let him hit you in the face, he's going to knock you out cold. I don't care how big you are or how tough you are. It's a big mistake, you know. I don't care if you are the juggernaut. There's always somebody who'll kick your ass, like Gladiator, for example. Some of you will get that reference. um, even in all, hey, how's it going, Larry? Did anyone watch that Shakur fight the other week? Second time I've fallen asleep during a fight. Never watched it. No, didn't bother. I've never actually sat through an entire Shakur fight, and I don't see why anybody would, if truth be told. I'm gonna go for a pee. I'll be back in a second. Okay, where was I? That's me all shat out. Um, Nordic versus Hackman in Saudi pay-per-view 29.99. I'll contact Turkey. I'll milkshake right now. Yeah, go ahead. But I'm the A side. It's a 80-20 split in my favor. Yeah, it's heavy rain in Glasgow. Yeah, it is. It's pure loud as well. You can hear it out the window. Who do you say is the strongest heavyweight boxer ever? By strongest, you mean like, do you mean like just physically strong? Like could lift the most weight or whatever? Because I'd have no way of knowing that. I mean, maybe Primo Canera. He was a circus strongman, wasn't he? So maybe he's up there. I know Vladimir Klitschko did like a crazy amount of weight training, so maybe him. Yeah, maybe Vladimir, because obviously he's more of a modern athlete, so he might be the strongest heavyweight ever in that sense. I thought Shakur lost several rounds. I didn't watch it. Can't watch it. Yeah, I didn't watch it either. Why would I? I don't like summer because of the heat, and I can't sleep. I prefer winter better. Yeah, same. I can't stand the heat. The heat just annoys me. I prefer freezing cold weather. I feel so much better. You know. Yeah, how's it going, man? You think Dubois sees the belt? I don't think so. I think he gets knocked out. I think AJ is just too big, hits too hard, and he's too experienced. I think he'll just break him down, knock him out. I give Dubois a puncher's chance, but AJ has that same puncher's chance and then some. Nordic, what about Kenshiro? You think Nakatani's above him? Yes, I do. I agree in overall skill, but not accomplishments. No, no. Like in terms of resume, like Kenshiro Taraji is probably a little bit ahead, but I think Nakatani's a much more talented and skilled fighter, in my opinion. I just think he's a better fighter in general. Nakatani beats everyone at Bantam and Superfly. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I definitely would agree with that at this point in time. I know Hrgovic was disappointing, but how he went out, he was still robbed against Dubois. Should have been a DQ, even if it went to the cards. Hrgovic would have been up, yeah. I mean, look, I was disappointed with how Hrgovic behaved in the fight. He didn't show much fighting spirit to me. He didn't put up much resistance. But at the same time, yeah, it should have been a DQ because, again, it was like consistent headbutting from Dubon. So look, it's a double edged sword there. I understand Hrgovic shat the bed. He didn't acquit himself well, but at the same time, yeah, it was an injustice in terms of just how it was officiated. Not sure that this will ever happen, but if Dubois and Hrgovic was to have a rematch, I'd take Hrgovic confident with all things on the level. Playing, yeah, I agree. On a level playing field, I agree. I think Hrgovic would win. Probably by late stoppage. I mean, the first fight, he was landing right hands basically at will. I remember the hype a few years ago with Eddie Reynoso was absolutely nuts. I remember people calling him a genius for having Canelo target Callum Smith's arm, a non-scoring area. Mate, oh, do you know, I'm sick of talking about that fight, but you're punching the opponent in the arm. And it's like, again, that's another one of them mental gymnastics situation where it's like, oh, he's playing mind games. He's hitting him in the arm to take away his ability to jab. That is a complete waste of time and a complete waste of energy. If you're going to hit the opponent, you want to hit them in a scoring area, like you said. It's just because that's the only place he could hit him because Callum Smith had his guard up, right? And Canelo just wings those big wide right hands without really targeting them. It just so happens that the fight wasn't real. It was literally a rigged sparring session. That's the only reason why he was hitting him in the arm. It wasn't a tactic at all. That was just the commentators talking crap. You know, Reynoso, his track record speaks for itself. He hasn't really been that successful outside of Canelo. He has that Virgil Hunter vibe about him where he's getting by off just one fighter. Like the success he's had with one fighter is basically carrying his reputation. Agree, Del. I do think Sayer gives him a very tough fight. Nordic, you sound like you're from West Yorkshire. What's the reason the riot started in Leeds? I've no idea. I was talking about that earlier. I've not looked into it at all. I know nothing about it. Nothing about it whatsoever. BKFC signing with the Zone. I've sparred a few Yorkshire lads from BK. Got my melt punched in as always. Yeah, yeah. Again, it's something that I would like to get into because I actually do really enjoy watching it. Like I've watched quite a bit of bare knuckle on YouTube, and sometimes, in fact, a lot of the time, it's more entertaining than glove boxing. And yeah, it's just something I've thought about taking up at some point. Because I wouldn't mind trying it at least once. Did Floyd ruin boxing, or did fans ruin boxing? Boxing fans fell for the psyop. Yeah, exactly. If boxing fans refused to support Floyd and refused to buy his fights, then they wouldn't. He wouldn't have had the career that he had, would he? He'd have been forced to actually do something. You know. Shakur got skills. Okay, y'all don't know shit about boxing. Yeah, F the fans, man. Shit about boxing, hey, mate. Nordic don't know much about the riot, but apparently some Roma people got their children taken away because there was no adult supervising them and a baby got dropped. Well, that sounds like a very negative situation, doesn't it? But again, I know nothing about it. I've not even, I don't watch the news, so I don't know. Yeah, yeah, same here. Bare knuckle is very entertaining. I watched a lot of it. Like you see, I like watching some of them street beefs. They have some bare knuckle fights as well, and some of them are really entertaining. You know, I'm really into it. Been to most UK shows. If I was younger, I'd give it a go. Yeah, I hope to give it a go myself. I think it'd be fun. Be a good laugh. Yeah, how's it going, Thomas? Good to see you here, man. Same to you, Gerson. Yeah, God bless you, man. How you been? Where was I? Yeah, Jake Paul versus Mike Perry in the thumbnail. Yeah, yeah, it was a bit of a clickbait thumbnail. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. I heard a story that Dubois' dad is one of the chaps' fingers in pies and some heavy mates. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Do you know what I did hear? I heard that Dubois' dad was making fake accounts and like going around commenting on videos and trying to like defend Dubois like in the comment section. I heard his dad was actually doing that, which sounds like the kind of thing he'd do, innit? Blue collar, I'm in my 40s now, still training and sparring, but I'm slow as an asthmatic turtle. You never know, man. I mean, there's plenty of guys who still box in their 40s, so you could give it a go. You don't know. You could try like white collar or something. They might still have events for like over 40s and stuff. You ever played Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance on PS2? Seemed like a solid game before the franchise got compromised. I've never played any of the Baldur's Gate games. Never played one of them, so no. I don't like the look of the new one. That Baldur's Gate 3, that was like what Bestiality Simulator, the game. So yeah, that's a game for people on Reddit. That's what that's all about. Yeah. So yeah, I'll never be interested in that. I'd say George Foreman, he lifted a cow. Yeah, he did as well. Yeah. Yeah, that was in the movie and all. They showed him lifting the cow and then they have like a photograph of it afterwards. Yeah, George Foreman was freakishly strong. Very, very strong guy, and that was what got him through the early part of his career was his strength. Speaking of John Rowland, he commented on Yard versus Kovalev. Barry Jones talked about the word stoppage. John implied the shots were low, and they both laughed. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, John Rowland had like he had like a bit of an annoying voice, I thought, for commentary, but he was quite funny sometimes. Opinions on Rocky Marciano. Great fighter. Criminally underrated, in my opinion. I think definitely the best heavyweight of his era by far. And it's a shame he gets, he gets harshly criticized, in my opinion. I think he was a lot better than people say. Vladimir had the juice, so it's possible he is. So his gyno tits at the AJ weigh-in. Oh yeah, Vladimir was probably on anabolic steroids. I've no doubt about that. no doubt about that. And Foreman, whatever he was on, would have been a lot less sophisticated. So maybe Vlad is stronger based on that. Plus, Vlad's a lot heavier than Foreman too, and a lot bigger naturally. So he probably is stronger. Yeah, cold weather is much better than that hot weather. It's much easier to heat yourself up when cold than it is to cool yourself down when hot. Yeah, well, look, when it's hot, there's nothing you can do. You're always going to be warm unless you like jump into a bath full of ice. And even at that, your blood's just going to warm up to acclimatize to it, and it's going to melt eventually, right? So you'll only be cold temporarily. But when it's cold, all you got to do is put a jumper on or a blanket, and you're fine. So yeah, I definitely think the cold weather's a lot better and a lot more comfortable. And yeah, like somebody said earlier, like hard to sleep when it's too warm. It's easier to sleep when it's nice and cold, and you can get snuggled up in a blanket and all that. That's better for me. Apparently, Marciano trained 9 months for fights. Yeah, I think Marciano just trained all the time. Yeah, yeah, like he says, Marciano trained even when there was no fight. The guy was a consummate professional. Shout out to Triple B. Good to see you here, man. It's been a while. Yeah, you were on a bit of a hiatus there, weren't you, Triple B? I was worried. I thought maybe the Illuminati had got you or something, but now you're all good. God bless you, man. I cannot bring myself to bet on AJ to beat the bomb, even though I think he will. Yeah, well, you don't need to bet on it. I mean, there's no value betting on AJ anyway because he's a big favorite, so you won't make a lot of money off it anyway. So it's probably not worth the risk, especially when he's been knocked out before. Yep, Triple B in the house. Big him up. I used to rate Hrgovic years ago, but it's been clear for a while that he's only in boxing for money. He's regressed since turning pro. Yeah, yeah, I've been saying that for a while. I think that I think that Hrgovic stagnated as a pro. Well, slightly after turning pro, I think his development significantly stagnated, and I just think he's one of them fighters who never really had the mentality to be a fighter. Like he had the talent to be a good amateur, but as a pro, he never had the kind of mentality that you need to make it all the way and to become an elite heavyweight. Because there's certain things you have to have. Guys like Tyson Fury, guys like Usyk, guys like Klitschko, they have like the kind of competitive mentality and the kind of mental toughness that it takes to have a really tough moment in a fight and to get through it. Guys like Povetkin, they have that. They can get dropped, they can get hurt, they can get outboxed, and they'll still be in there swinging away to the last bell, and they'll go out on their shield. Those guys have that mentality. Hrgovic never has ever struck me as a type of fighter who has that mentality ever. He just doesn't have it. Yeah, yeah, I'm looking forward to Madrimov Crawford. I think it's a great fight. If there's no shenanigans in that fight, I think it's going to be badass. I think it's going to be a good one. Madrimov a decent bet around 5-1. He beats Crawford. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, you'd make decent money then off that one. But again, look, it's a very risky situation because you know that. Well, I would think it's logical to assume that the politics would favor Crawford in that fight. So it just depends if you want to take the risk. Do you want to take the risk on the odds? I don't know, man. I mean, he's a big underdog for a reason, isn't he? Canelo was hitting Beevil in the arms and shoulders all night. Yeah, he did the same thing to Beevil, and it had no effect on him. Beevil was able to jab his head off the entire fight and had absolutely no trouble. So, wasn't a very wise tactic in that case, was it? Tempted to put a bet on Madrimov to beat Crawford on points. Think you get 14 to 0 odds. I don't know, man. Like again, gambling's look. It's a mugs game, man. You'll never make a lot of money gambling, even if you get lucky one time. chances are, if you gamble regularly, in the long run, you're gonna lose more than you win. Like, chances are that's just how it's gonna work out in the long run, you know? Um, Floyd Mayweather versus Sergio Martinez. I think Martinez would be too big for Floyd, and I think he would move around him. I think he would, use that ambush style to circle around him, stay at long range, and then when Floyd sort of drops his hands and makes a mistake, Martinez would just jump in and pounce on him and probably kick his ass, you know? So Martinez probably on points. I think Floyd would be able to run and make it the distance, but he would probably lose on points, you know? But yeah, I would go with Martinez, long story short. Um, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Floyd would get destroyed in bare knuckle boxing because he's apparently got brittle hands from all the steroids he injected over the years. That's why he had to have bloody numbing agents injected into his hands just for that very reason, you know? Um, yeah, yeah, the odds are good, but again, it's a mugs game, especially when Crawford has weight stipulations and stuff like that, you know? Ergashev fighting next week on the zone with Ernesto and Rivera on the card. That'll be interesting. That'll be an interesting card. Yeah, yeah. Hrgovic has looked mediocre in every fight since he was a pro. Like, he had a good amateur background, and he did okay in the World Series of Boxing. But ever since he's fought professionally, he's just looked like a slob to me. He's looked like a guy who is just getting by on size and natural ability, but he doesn't look like to me like a guy who's actually developed as a fighter. Like, I don't think he's developed at any stage of his career personally as a professional. I don't think he's gotten at all better technically or athletically since turning pro, you know? I remember you mentioning Industry Hoax on one of your lives. Very good content on that channel. Yeah, some of his older videos in particular were very, very good. I eh, particularly the Mike Tyson video. That was an interesting one, wasn't it? I enjoyed watching that one. But yeah, I recommend that channel to anybody who's interested in that sort of stuff. William Zepeda and Shakur, good fight. I'm not a Shakur fanboy. I think Zepeda will duck him. I think Zepeda might be too strong, too athletic, and a bit too aggressive. I think he would walk Shakur down and either stop him late or just outwork him and win on points. I would favour Zepeda in that fight if it's uh, if it's a real fight, you know. Don't you respect Hopkins for boxing until he's in his 50s at the highest level, pushing the limit what we think's possible? Yeah, but what you have to remember about that is Bernard Hopkins, first of all, he was on PEDs and he drug drained his opponents. Secondly, he was a habitual cheater, you know, would always clinch his opponents excessively, hit them on the break, hit them low, headbutt them. You know, he would complain to the referee and pretend to be fouled even when he wasn't, just to get a break. You know, he would constantly, if he realized he couldn't win a fight, he would constantly look for a way out. So no, I don't respect Hopkins. I think Hopkins was a dirty, cheating coward. And like I said, the only reason he was able to last as long as he was is because he was able to old man his way through fights. You know, he was just a habitual cheater. He never went through a single fight, to my knowledge, without cheating excessively. So yeah, I don't respect Bernard Hopkins at all, not one bit. You know, um, Marciano finna fight Joe Lewis out of his prime. Yeah, but to be honest, I think he would have beaten any version of Joe Lewis. That's just my opinion. Ironic that Hopkins' career was ended by a white boy who knocked him out of the ring and made him land on his head. Yeah, made him take a flying leap straight onto his big fat head. You know, and he deserved it. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. He certainly deserved it. If I bet on it, AJ, it would be by KO. Oh yeah, you'll get better odds on a KO than just picking him to win outright. You know. Was Spence really that basic against Crawford, or was there something actually wrong with him that night? I suspect he was brain damaged from the car crash and probably from the weight cut because he probably had a dehydration clause. So, yeah, Spence is shot to pieces, I think, and I think that fight showed it, truth be told. I think Crawford will only lose if he's allowed to lose, if the establishment decides to give him a real fight. But will that ever happen? Maybe it'll happen against Madrimov. I doubt it, but I doubt it at this point in time anyway. But yeah. How do you rate Sean Porter? Because he's better than both Spence and Crawford. Just wasn't chosen. Yeah, the establishment didn't choose him. I think he was definitely better than Spence. A lot of people thought he beat Spence. And he was beating Crawford until he just quit for no reason. So yeah, I think he was technically a lot better than both. But yeah, they both kind of got him at the right time. And with the with the what do you call it, the politics on their side to ensure that they got the win. That's all there is to it. But I think prime for prime, he beats both of them. Canelo is waiting until Beterbiev is 45. I wonder why he picked Bivol. Yeah, I think they just threw him under the bus with Bivol and gave him a real fight, so that people would finally start betting against Canelo. Because I'm assuming the gambling industry was losing a lot of money on Canelo fights. Thoughts on Crawford and Shakur lashing out at fans and meat riders, calling everyone casuals who should watch something else. Well, I mean, look, tell people they should watch something else, and that's exactly what they're going to do. It's not a very good way to get fans to, or to endear fans to a fighter. Just telling them to go and watch something else. I mean, hey, by all means do that, but don't complain when people like myself decide to do exactly what you suggest we should do and watch something else. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like I said before, I've never watched a single Shakur fight, and I don't intend on ever watching one, if truth be told. So, yep, that's my thoughts on that. 1 second, I'll be back in a second. I'm just going to do a piss. Okay, where was I again? Do you remember when people were unironically talking about Canelo moving up the weights and getting belts in every division up to cruiserweight? Yeah, they were saying he would beat Usyk. Like that's how crazy the whole hype with Canelo got, and how fake his fights were, that people actually genuinely believed he was going to move up to cruiserweight and beat Usyk. and then move up to heavyweight and beat Fury. People thought that. Like, could you imagine what Usyk would do to Canelo, man? Could you imagine that? I'd like to see it though. Madrimov is a Hearn guy. Crawford is a float around guy. It doesn't matter. Look, Eddie Hearn doesn't give a crap about Eastern European fighters. He uses Eastern European fighters to build up Western fighters. Like Hearn would love to sign Crawford. You know, he would love for Crawford to sign with him so he can add him to the Matchroom stable and start laundering money through his fights and all that. You know, he doesn't give a crap about Madrimov. You know, I mean, being with Hearn didn't do Hrgovic any favors, did it? Didn't help him out with politics, you know. Mark Demore's fight against Philippe Hrgovic was tragic. Yeah, that was one of the worst cherry picks I've ever seen in the heavyweight division. Couldn't believe it, you know. I watched the OJ Industry live video you recommended. Fantastic. Yeah, that was a very, very thought-provoking video, wasn't it? Yeah, very thought-provoking. I recommend anyone go and watch that. The Industry Hoax Revealed video about OJ Simpson. Just eye-opening stuff, you know. Hopkins is a total scumbag of a fighter. Allowed to get away with cheating. He was one of the worst cheaters I've ever seen. You know, he was like Andre Ward. He was an Andre Ward level fighter. In fact, he may have even inspired Andre Ward largely, you know. But mate, Beterbiev would ragdoll Andre Ward and probably knock him out mid-rounds. ESPN just released their top 100 athletes of the 21st century, and they have Pacquiao all the way down at 71. But they have all these women athletes above him, bunch of diversity. But yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. As if there is a single woman in the history of the planet that was a better athlete than Manny Pacquiao. Like, as if there's even a single one who had more stamina, better balance, was stronger, you know, was more coordinated, like whatever. Like, as if there's ever been a woman who was anywhere near as athletic as Manny Pacquiao. Like, that's just pure, completely and utterly virtue signaling. That's all that is. Diversity picks, you know? Yeah, they put Mayweather at 25, you know, who was bigger than Pacquiao and lost to Manny Pacquiao. Have you met any fighters in person? I've met loads of fighters in person. Loads of fighters. Yeah, still don't know how Jermaine Taylor beat Hopkins twice. Just outworked him. He was just a younger, more athletic guy at that stage of their careers. I mean, the fights could have gone either way. Both of those fights were very close, but I'm glad that Taylor got the decision because Hopkins is just, again, a dirty, cheating scumbag. But Taylor was just younger and more athletic, and he outworked him, you know? Jermaine Taylor was a talented guy. Unfortunately, he sustained brain damage at the hands of Arthur Abraham, and his life went downhill. Yeah, he ended up severely damaged after that fight. I think he had clear CTE, and he just went mental afterwards. He had a complete mental breakdown after that fight, and I think he'd been in and out of jail and everything. Well, by all means, Andre Ward, come out of retirement and fight AJ at Wembley Stadium at heavyweight. By all means, please do that, because I would totally love to see that. Please go ahead and try it. What's up with Jermaine Taylor now? Is he in jail? Well, the last I heard of Jermaine Taylor is he said he would never lose to a white boy, and then he shot a gun at his cousin or something and got thrown in jail. That was the last I heard about him. And as I mentioned before, he had severe CTE. So yeah, that's what taking a full forced straight right hand from Arthur Abraham will do to you, man. Dangerous, you know. Women shouldn't even be in an athlete list with men. Exactly, they should be in their own list. It should be a top 100 women's athlete, not top 100 athletes with a bunch of women ahead of Manny Pacquiao. No, that doesn't make any sense, you know. Shout out to Lee Talks Boxing. Good to see you here, man. I just got done watching your prediction for the, what do you call it? the Boachuk fight that you did the prediction for. I just got done watching that. Yeah, yeah, Abraham was great. He was one of my favorite fighters. I remember Jermaine Taylor said, "I'll never lose to a white boy again," after losing to Pavlik twice, Froch and Abraham. Yeah, yeah. So he lost 4 times to white guys, all by knockout, but he'd never lose to a white boy, would he? Yeah. Well, 3 of them by knockout, anyway. Could you please do a career retrospective on Eddie Chambers? Very skilled and underrated heavyweight. Yeah, I'll definitely do that at some point. I'll definitely do a Eddie Chambers career retrospective. No doubt about it. Yeah, these black lads should stop slating white men. They end up losing. Yeah, they always end up getting battered. They end up losing badly when they do. That's what usually happens. Yeah, Abraham was one of those talented guys from the 2000s German scene. Yeah, he was. And he was one of the most entertaining as well. I love watching his fights. I probably watch more of his fights than any other fighter, if truth be told. Got his career on DVD. Thanks, man. Argument could be made that Boachuk is a live dog. Yeah, I think he's a very live dog. I think Boachuk has got a very good chance of winning that fight. I mean, he can punch. He's the bigger man. And not only that, but Virgil Ortiz has that health condition, which is something that I believe is permanent. And it's something that I think is going to plague the rest of his career. And it's always going to make him an open question. For me, he's always going to have that air of vulnerability about him where it's only going to take one big punch to make his body completely shut down and betray him, Because, when you have that kind of disease, your body can shut down to the point where your bones break and your muscles aren't nourished and everything. And, you could end up losing based on it. So I think that, but I'm not saying that Boachuk's definitely going to win, but like you say, he's a live dog. I think he's a live dog. I think he has a great chance of winning it. That was Chris Bird. Yeah, you're right. It was Chris Bird. I forgot how much of a pillow-fisted Sergio Mora was until I look at his record. Yeah, he wasn't a big puncher. He was a good technical boxer, but wasn't a big puncher. Yeah, Vitali had a torn rotator cuff, so he had to quit. Shoulder injury, He should have just ran for the last 2 rounds. He would have won on points, but this is what it is. He went on to have a great career and became champion again, so it's all good. Everyone was just in the heavyweight division at the wrong time. Trust me, neither one of those guys could go toe-to-toe with either Klitschko brother in their prime. I agree. I think the Klitschko brothers in their prime would dominate pretty much every era of heavyweight boxing, particularly Vladimir, as far as I'm concerned. Don't hurt Floyd. Don't hurt Floyd. Yeah. Good old Kenny Bayless. Yeah. Torn. If you got a torn rotator cuff, you throw one punch, your career could be over. That could literally ruin your career instantly, Just got to be careful with it. But I still think he should have just turned southpaw and then just ran, Josh Warrington's ring IQ. I think Josh Warrington, he's a great boxer, but he doesn't have a great IQ because, he could be winning fights. I've talked about this in the past. He could be winning fights easily, and then he'll just square up and start having a tear up and then get knocked out. It's happened a couple of times now. So I think he's a fighter who is supremely talented and supremely skilled, but not that smart, not that intelligent. His IQ is quite low, So it is what it is. I'm out with some mates soon. Have a great stream. Yeah, same to you, man. God bless you. Have a good time, man. But not too good. Who'd you have, Virgil Boachuk? I think Boachuk is a live underdog in that fight. I'm not saying he's going to win. Like, if you had a gun to my head and forced me to pick somebody, it probably would be Ortiz. But I think Boachuk, like I said, has a great chance of pulling the upset. He's, in my opinion, Boachuk's one of these guys, he's reasonably tough, got good power. And, he's the guy who's been at the division longer. And, Virgil has that health condition to where, if you get hit on the chin when you have a condition like that and you're not fully recovered from it,
your body could just shut down completely, and Boachuk could stop him. So I would not be at all surprised if Boachuk pulled off the upset in that fight. I think it's one of the few examples of fights in fights coming up soon where I can realistically see a legitimate upset. I really do. Like, I can realistically see it. Yeah, Vitali was beating Lewis as well before he got the eye injury. Yeah, and even with it, I think he would have beat him if they kept the fight going. But Lewis at that point in time was, he was the favored guy by the establishment. Was John Ruiz any good? John Ruiz was a spoiler. Very boring fighter to watch, very dirty, clinched constantly. But he did have some boxing skills. He did have some power. And he was a decent athlete. He just didn't have much heart, and he was constantly spoiling and horrible to watch, A boring fighter, in my opinion. Yeah, John Ruiz wasn't great to watch, but he was a good fighter. He did have some boxing skills. To be fair, his trilogy with Holyfield was all right. They were reasonably entertaining fights, and I thought he won all three of those fights, Ruiz. But he didn't get the decision in two of them. I think one of them was a draw, one of them he lost, and one of them won. But me personally, I thought he won all three clearly. But yeah, they were actually weirdly entertaining fights because both of those guys were kind of spoilers. They weren't that entertaining, but the styles kind of clashed, and it turned out to be quite a surprising trilogy of entertaining fights. I watched them not too long ago, actually. I was planning to make a video specifically about that trilogy, but I kind of just didn't bother. Maybe one day. Warrington tries to fight like Moscow Antonio Barrera when he should be fighting how Sturm fought against De La Hoya. Yeah, if Warrington were to just use his high guard and pump the jab out there and use lateral movement, I don't think there's anybody at featherweight right now that would beat him. I really don't. When Shakur ducked Warrington. Yeah, I remember that. And I was saying at the time Warrington would beat him and beat him easily. Like they were talking about that fight happening in Leeds in the UK. And I was saying that happens, Shakur's going to get absolutely dominated and schooled. But that would never happen, He was never going to take that fight, and he ducked it. Vitali is often overshadowed by Vlad. As great as Vlad was, I preferred Vitali and his style. Vitali was usually more entertaining, but I think Vlad was the better fighter, personally. Virgil versus Boachuk is interesting, considering the circumstances surrounding Virgil. Dangerous fight. I agree. I think that it's a situation where Virgil can win it convincingly if he avoids getting hit with a big shot. But if he gets hit with a big shot, I don't think he has the durability to get through it. Like, I think Virgil's going to have to be very careful, and he can't be as gung ho as he was in some of his some of his earlier fights. I think he's got to be very careful because of that health condition. Shakur couldn't sell out a phone box, but he wanted Warrington, who had headlined Elrond Road, to fight in America. Yeah, I mean, Warrington's one of the biggest draws in British boxing, yet Shakur's acting like he's the A side just because he's an American. Like, Shakur could never sell out the kind of arenas that Warrington can, I'm driving. I didn't read the comments. Yeah, that's all right. No problem. No problem, David. David to a knockout of John Ruiz's Saturday. Yeah, I've watched that so many times. That was so brutal. And it's crazy to me how Ruiz how he didn't anticipate that, how he just stood right in front of David Tua and just got his head just wailed on. That's that early in the fight. It's crazy, man. Yeah, David Tua. I've watched a lot of David Tua's fights. He was great to watch, man. He's one of my favorite to go back and watch as well. Very entertaining. I met Hopkins and Holyfield. Did not like the vibe. Lennox Lewis was cool. Yeah, I've never met either of them. That would be quite cool to meet either of them, I think. No, I think the Klitschko's were better, personally. Eduardo Subar Nunez or Sugar Nunez. I don't know who that is. I've no idea. Never heard of him, I don't think. Best thing about John Ruiz was his trainer Norman Stone. Yeah, Norman Stone was funny, man. The referee sucks. The referee sucks. Yeah, he was brilliant. It's funny, it's funny because like Norman Stone ranting in the corner was actually more entertaining than John Ruiz's fighting style. Like you would get more entertainment watching that than you would actually watching John Ruiz fight in most cases. Boxers ain't nice people. Most of them are pricks. Well, yeah, I mean they're professional fighters, aren't they? So a lot of them would be pricks. But you'd be surprised though. There's a lot of nice boxers out there, but it just yeah, a lot of them are pricks. But you can say that about just anybody. You know, you could say that about regular people. You know, there's nice people and there's pricks everywhere. You know, in all walks of life. I don't get why people were making fun of you for getting Furious prediction wrong. We don't always get predictions right. Well, I'll tell you exactly why it is because you know that this community is a very toxic community, full of you know beta male simp cooks who you know just exude negativity and they latch on to anything. You know because you know I'm very very good at triggering people. My videos are quite divisive and I've got a lot of polarizing views. But I know my boxing, and a lot of my predictions are, you know, that I'm not always right, but a lot of my predictions and my breakdowns are, let's just say they're more accurate than most in a lot of ways. So, you know, these guys really, really have to latch on to something, you know, because these guys, they know that by insulting me, it's not going to affect me at all, you know, by saying I'm fat and whatever. And, you know, just making personal attacks towards me, calling me racist and whatever like that kind of shit doesn't bother me one bit. And I literally just laugh about it, and it's like water off a duck's back. It doesn't bother me at all. So these people need something, right? They need to find something that can get under my skin or can upset me or can give them sort of a sense of accomplishment. And the only thing they could find, the only thing that was like tangible in their mind that they thought could get to me somehow was the fact that I happened to get a prediction wrong. So they just latched onto it and wouldn't let it go. And again, it's kind of sad, but at the same time, I find it amusing and I find it fascinating from a psychological perspective that people were so in their feelings about my channel and about things that I've said and just trying everything they can, desperately trying to find some way to upset me. That was what they latched onto, you know. That was the only thing they could come up with, you know. Oh, shout out to Arnold for the super chat, man. Yeah, thanks for the contribution. God bless you, man. I appreciate it. Much appreciated every time. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, like I think they latched onto that because they literally had nothing else. Like they had nothing else to latch onto, and they needed to find something. But it's kind of cute, actually. It's kind of cute to see the lengths that people will go, and just scraping the bottom of the barrel to try and upset you or to try and hurt you somehow. But yeah, it is what it is, man. It's fascinating. Apparently, Harold Graham works in Asda. Does he now? I take it he didn't make a lot of money from his boxing career then, which is kind of sad, I guess. You know, he was a pretty good fighter too. Harold Graham had a glass chin though. It's weird that Andre Ward is said to be a good defensive boxer, despite him taking multiple jabs against Kovalev. Kovalev was toying with him the whole time. Yeah, well, if he was such a great defensive boxer, he wouldn't need to constantly duck below the waist and run and clinch and spoil and cheat, would he? Like he wouldn't need to do that if he was such a great defensive fighter. You know? Yeah, Vlad had better skills, but Vitali was tougher. I definitely agree with that. Oh boy, Warrington Shakur at the time. Way too early for Shakur. Let's not think about how that would have went. Yeah, Warrington would have beaten the piss out of him. Would have beaten the absolute piss out of him. Warrington has won one fight since 2019. He's shot. Yeah, he's shot now. No doubt about that. But I was talking about just his boxing IQ in general. I liked Vitali because he wasn't afraid to get stuck in and have a tear up. Yeah, I agree with that. Vitali was more tough. He was a lot tougher than Vladimir, but Vladimir just was more of a complete fighter, in my opinion. Just better boxer, better skills. Hit a lot harder too. Yeah, Vlad seemed scared to take one on the chin because he was quite chinny. And I think he was self-aware about that, and that's why he used the clinching tactics. Evening, everyone. Got a nice Thai green chicken curry to look forward to. Oh, nice one, man. I had spaghetti today, spaghetti bolognese, and I even had a cheeky little waffle for dessert. A bit of a cheat day. By the way, you should have seen the steak dinner I had yesterday. Me and my missus went for a steak dinner because it was her birthday this week, and I treated her for a steak dinner yesterday, and it was this place. I forget the name of it. It's this place in Central Station in Glasgow. It's like underground, underneath it, and it's a nice little steak restaurant. And oh man, I got it was a rump steak. It was like a 35-day proper Scotch beef rump steak, and it was like pure thick. It was the nicest steak I've ever had. Like, I mean that 100% unironically. It was the nicest steak I've ever had in my entire life. It was beautiful, and it came with like a side of truffle chips with parmesan, and we even got some mac and cheese with it as well. And mate, it was beautiful. Best dinner I've had in years, I think. Might even be the nicest meal I've ever had. It was beautiful. But yeah, that's what I had yesterday. And today I had, like I said, I had spaghetti bolognese today, which was nice too. I enjoyed it. Tua versus that mental African bloke was a classic. Ike Ibeabuchi, yeah. Yeah, that was a great fight. Tua versus Ike, great fight. And it could have gone either way too. Yeah, Tua with his chin, with his power, with his aggression, with his strength, he would be able to. I would give him a puncher's chance against any heavyweight today. Like, I don't think he'd be a top heavyweight, but I think he would have a puncher's chance for sure. Butterbean's son recently turned professional. He got chinned. Yeah, I think a few of Butterbean's sons were professional boxers. He had one. He had a son called Brandon, and his nickname was Baby Bean. Yeah, I think he got chinned a few times as well. I didn't know he had another son that turned pro recently, though. But yeah, shout out to Butterbean, man. He was good. Do you know Jamil McLean in his prime could probably beat Dubois? It would be a competitive fight. Like, both guys were very flawed, but I think McLean could win prime for prime. The fact that people were saying Canelo could beat Usyk just shows how disrespected Usyk is. Yeah, I mean, oh man. I mean, let's not forget, people were saying Dubois could beat Usyk. Like, when he first moved up to heavyweight, there was people saying he couldn't beat AJ. He can't even beat Dubois. Like, people were actually saying that. Literally. But, I mean, where are those people now, eh? Probably the same people saying Canelo would beat him. You think Janibek has the same condition as Virgil? Why do you say that? Why do you say, why is Janibek, has he got a similar condition? I don't know. Tyson Fury versus John Ruiz equals Mayor Big John Fury versus Norman Stone. Man, could you imagine that? Could you imagine Big John Fury versus Norman Stone just shouting at each other? That'd be hilarious. That'd be so funny, man. I'd love to see that. While Tyson Fury and John Ruiz would just be nice and quiet and wouldn't be saying anything because they'd be shouting over them. Usyk might be the nicest boxer, but don't know that for sure. He seems like a nice guy to me, Usyk. He seems like a real stand-up dude. He's one of them guys, isn't he? You get that vibe. He's got that Manny Pacquiao attitude about him where he'll smile, he'll shake your hand, he's all happy-go-lucky. But when he gets in that ring, he can kick ass, and he can really, really put it on you when he wants to, Very, very, very much machismo. He oozes, he oozes machismo. Kovalev is massively underrated. The dude was basically a functioning alcoholic like Pavlik, yet he was still able to perform at the highest level.
until his lifestyle caught up with him. Yeah, look, alcohol and boxing, they just don't mix. You know, alcohol will absolutely ruin your career. It'll take away your testosterone. It'll ruin your sleeping pattern, everything. Like it'll damage your recovery. It'll take away your brain cells. If you're a professional boxer, don't drink alcohol. It won't help you. You know, at least wait until you retire. You know. Yeah, thanks again for the contribution. I'm picking Fury to beat Usyk in the rematch. Fury will win more rounds, and that'll be enough to get an early Christmas gift. I noticed a lot of people seem to think Fury can win the rematch, and that's actually really surprising me, given how the first fight went. Because you would expect Usyk to be a big favorite after that, you know. Nothing wrong with getting predictions wrong. Exactly. It's not as if like Fury was like a 10-1 underdog or something like that, and I picked him. No, Fury for the longest time was the favorite, so it was an informed prediction on my part. You know, I got it wrong, hands up, but I think my breakdown made perfect sense if you actually watch it, given the information we had at the time. You know. Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Eduardo Nunez is the Mexican guy that fights at 130. Check out his highlights. Yeah, I'll check out his highlights. I'll be interested to see. I'm also concerned if Usyk will be as motivated this time around because he's already achieved his primary target. Yeah, that's something that did occur to me. I mean, he's kind of clocked the game now, isn't he? He's gotten all the achievements. And it's like, what else is there to achieve? He's already beaten Fury for undisputed. So, yeah, he's made more money than he'll ever need. What motivation does he have to keep improving? That's definitely in my mind. But Usyk's a consummate professional. I have no doubt he'll be in shape. And we saw Tyson Fury stumbling drunk out of a pub. So, like I was saying before, alcohol and boxing don't mix. And I doubt Usyk is getting pissed and you know, wasting away like that, ruining his health. I doubt it. Oh, he beat Rakimov recently. They didn't put it on BoxRec. Why is it not on BoxRec? I wonder. Kovalev would have done more if he could have kept off the booze. Yeah, he'd probably still be undefeated if he did that, you know. I know you're a Christian, so I was wondering if you think the Trump shooting revealed him as the beast. I'm not sure how you work that one out. I don't know, man. I don't really know what to say about that Trump shooting. Look, there's so much about it that's just so dodgy. I mean, the guy that shot him, so allegedly the guy that shot him was in a BlackRock commercial. I mean, you couldn't make that stuff up, man. Like, they're just taking the piss at this point. Like the government, the media, the occult, you know, the factions, they're just mocking us as far as I'm concerned. You've literally got the guy who shot the president and just missed him by an inch, missed his brain by an inch, and clipped his ear, and then was shot himself. You had like two midget women that were supposedly Trump's government-appointed security. You know, we then learned that the Democrats supposedly the day before it tried to have his Secret Service security taken away. It's just so theatrical, if you know what I mean. And again, you know, BlackRock, the largest hedge fund in the world that basically owns the entirety of the entertainment industry and pretty much every single major corporation. The guy who shot Trump allegedly is on one of their commercials. I mean, come on, man. Like, can it get any more dodgy than that? Like, I don't even know. I've not done any research into it. This is all just stuff I've heard secondhand, and it's draining to even think about, as far as I'm concerned, you know. But it could have been an act of God that saved Trump's life. What do I know? You know, God bless him. Is what it is. Rump steak is underrated. Cooked myself some last week, and yo, man, I loved it. And you should have seen it. It was basically the steak that I got, because the restaurant that I went to, it's a professional steakhouse, and they've got like all the information about where the meat comes from, and it comes from up in the Highlands of Scotland, and it's basically like an award-winning butcher who handpicks each steak for the restaurant, and it's aged for 35 days to be like the right maturity, and I had it medium rare, and it was the most I wish I'd taken a picture of it now. I should have. I don't know why I didn't, but it was the most perfectly cooked, well seasoned, well matured, and just well bred steak I've ever tasted in my entire life. Like if you've ever had just the most, the most well made organic steak, I almost don't even know how to describe it. It was so beautiful, man. Like I felt amazing afterwards. I felt so recovered and refreshed. It was so good. Best meal I've ever had, probably. It was beautiful. So I'm definitely gonna go back. And I think next time I go there, I'll take a picture of it and I'll probably post it on like either a video or a community post or something. And by the way, that's something I've thought about doing on the channel. I've thought about like uploading some I don't know if you guys would be interested, but some like food related content, because I've been thinking about like because I've been like really really into my training. I've thought about making like some nutrition videos and basically talking about what I eat for recovery after training and stuff like that, and how I prepare my meals and all that, because I think a lot of people on YouTube seem to be interested in that. So I've thought about making some food related videos. Like if there's any suggestions you guys have, I'd like to hear it. I give Boachuk a chance against Virgil too, but he has to stop him. Yeah, I give him a very good chance of forcing a stoppage. But again, a lot of that for me comes from Virgil, like obviously his aggressive style, but more so Virgil's health condition that he had. Like that health condition is serious, and I don't think it's something that just goes away. Like that's a seriously difficult thing to recover from, because it's from years and years of starving yourself and putting an excessive strain on your bones and your muscles. It's from like a lack of nutrition and being overly stressed. And I think that that's going to make Virgil Ortiz's fights very, very difficult to predict going forward. Nunes used his lead hand to set the shots up. Yeah. I love Kovalev's Corey. Yeah, I'm sure you do. Sure you do. Andre Ward probably loves it too. He certainly loved touching it in the ring. Your steak and spaghetti bolognese always making me hungry. Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, I've been eating real good lately. It's crazy because because I've been doing like a lot of like strength and conditioning training lately. I've been so hungry for meat. I've just been craving meat like crazy. Like last week, or was it earlier this week? No, last week no, in fact, it was earlier this week. I decided to have a sirloin steak for my dinner, and just out of the blue, I decided I'm gonna have sirloin steak and half a pizza, and it was actually a really really nice meal. I actually really enjoyed it. So yeah, I've been eating like a lot of protein lately. Fried meat and a woman a nice ribeye. Oh man, I love a ribeye too. Beautiful. But man, you should have seen the rump steak I had. You should have seen the one I had yesterday. It was so beautiful, man. Like my missus got a flat iron steak and I got the rump steak, and I'm so glad I did because mine was like way thicker. It was so nice. Yeah. Usyk will be scared of the speed counters and the power of Canelo. Yeah, and don't forget the class. He'll be scared of the class of Canelo. Can Usyk deal with the class? The class. Fried up a nice ribeye with some baby potatoes and broccoli last Sunday for me and a nice woman who also pisses me off. Yeah. Oh well, at least you had a beautiful sounding meal anyway. That sounds nice, man. I love it. And yeah, like I was saying before, the steak that I had, it came with truffle chips with parmesan. Beautiful. Just complemented the steak perfectly. Absolutely beautiful. Tommy Morrison's son is a pro. I don't think he's been that successful. Yeah, both of his sons. There's Trey Lippe Morrison, and what's the other one called? Kenzie Morrison, or whatever his name is. Yeah, those are Tommy Morrison's sons. Janibek recently failed or fainted while trying to make weight, according to the reports. Well, that could be a similar situation then. He could have that condition, or he might have just been dehydrated from trying to make weight. So, yeah, seems like he's never going to be at middleweight again.
sadly, because I think he's the best middleweight right now. But if he can't make the weight, he's gonna have to move up, isn't he? And we'll see if the power translates to the new division. Be back in a minute. Just go to the toilet. Okay, where was I? I've been peeing like crazy just because I had all that iron brew, you know? Alcohol destroys everything, so does weed. Yeah. Look, smoking weed as a boxer, it'll just make you lazy. That's what it'll do. It won't help you at all. You know, it won't. Some people think it helps them concentrate and all that crap. That's just because they're addicted to it and they can't function without it, or they feel like they can't function without it. And alcohol, again, it just destroys. It'll destroy your liver. It'll destroy your testosterone production, and it serves no useful function for an athlete. No useful function whatsoever. You know. Usyk wanted to give Dubois a fist bump at the press conference, and Dubois just ignored him. Yeah, because Usyk's a nice guy like that. You know, he's again, Usyk's the kind of guy. Like I said, he'll shake your hand, he'll show you respect, he'll laugh and joke with you. But when he gets in that ring, he gets straight down to business, and there's no messing about. Like there's no messing about at all with Usyk. He's a fighting man. You know, I sound like John Fury. He's a fighting man. But in Usyk's case, it's genuinely true. He genuinely is a fighting man. That's what he is, and I respect that a lot more. Sorry about that. I respect that a lot more than getting in people's face and acting the big one, and telling people how hard you are and stuff. I respect that a lot more. Sorry, I've got a lot of crap on my bed right now. A lot of games and stuff. I'm trying to move them all around, So yeah, got stuff like that on my bed right now. Guys ever played Time Splitters? It's great, man. Gonna be reviewing that pretty soon. Gonna review the entire trilogy. But yeah, where was I? David Hay, Chisora versus Dubois is a pick and fight. Very tough to call. Joshua has the experience. Dubois has the youth and raw talent. Very tough. James Toney, they both bitches. Yeah. Yeah. Fighters from England, they all bums, man. Yeah, Usyk's a badass. And Usyk would smash Wilder. That's a complete mismatch. A complete mismatch. Yeah, alcohol just kills all forms of training. See you later, lads. Yeah, God bless you, man. Thanks for stopping by. Do you see the video of the guy predicting where Trump got shot and he points out the exact spot it was made 4 months ago? Yeah, and again, that's another thing that creeps me out. Like, is that guy a prophet? Did he get a revelation from God? Or is he part of the establishment and did he know it was going to happen? And are they just trolling us? Like, there's so much about that situation which is literally creeping me out. It's making me think that we're just being messed with.
if you know what I mean. Look, I don't want to be I don't want to be too reactionary in regards to that situation. Like when I first heard about it, I heard that Trump got shot, and I'm like it kind of triggered me because I'm like, you know how the media are gonna spin it. They're gonna try and make it seem like it was just some lone nutcase, and you know it was Trump's rhetoric and all that other stuff. When in reality, you look at how the media have constantly vilified and demonized Trump, and incited so much hatred against the man. Somebody was bound to try and violently react to that, and try and take him out. That was bound to happen. And I kind of felt as if they could be trying to incite a riot from conservatives, people like myself. They want us to react violently to what happened. But now that I think about it, and when I learned about the BlackRock commercial, and I learn about like all the predictive programming and stuff like that, I just think they're trolling at this point in time. I literally just think there's a strong possibility they're just taking the piss and they're just trolling. I think there's a strong possibility there. Look, the media and the powers that be in politics, they're that messed up that they'll do something like that just to troll people and create a bread and circus act. It's, that's what it seems like to me. Lol at the UK media and Carl Froch's YouTube channel defending Fury for getting pissed out of his mind. Surely you want this guy to be a good example for athletes like Usyk and AJ. Oh yeah, look, how could you imagine what Fury would be like if he was a consummate professional? Like, imagine if Tyson Fury stayed off the drugs, stayed off the booze, stayed off the junk food, stayed away from negative influences, and had the kind of conditioning program that Usyk had, the kind of nutrition that Usyk had, took his faith seriously, looked after his family, this, that, and the other, and just stayed away from all degenerate influences, and just decided to live the life. Could you imagine how great Tyson Fury would be? Talk about one of the greatest athletes of all time with that kind of natural talent. That's what annoys me about Fury. Like, this guy could literally be the greatest heavyweight of all time if he just applied himself and took the sport seriously and was genuinely humble. If he would just pray every single day, be humble, and stay away from negative influences, and just stop acting like a degenerate. Imagine what this guy could do with his life. How influential he could be. It's fascinating. Like, I find Usyk more influential than him. That's one thing I'll say about Floyd Mayweather. He was always very disciplined. Oh yeah, Floyd always stayed in shape. Floyd never allowed himself to fall into bad habits and ruin his body. He always stayed in shape. No doubt about it. I too have Fury winning the rematch. He'll only need to put the fork in the beer down. Yeah. I've noticed a lot of people are picking him, which does surprise me. I'm not going to lie. It genuinely does. Hulk Hogan endorsing Trump was hilarious. Yeah, where he ripped his shirt off and he's like, I can't stay silent anymore. Like, that was funny. Like Hulk Hogan, the guy's like 70 years old, but you can tell he's still like a big macho man and all that. He still works out, still in great shape. He's still like just as charismatic and as like mentally energetic as ever. Like, that was really funny. I enjoyed it. I did. Watch Paul Joseph Watson's videos on the Trump thing. Some hedge fund put a huge bet on Trump's social network stock price falling. Yeah, you're on about BlackRock. That'll be the hedge fund in the week leading up to the assassination attempt. Yeah. And like I said, the guy who shot him was apparently in a BlackRock commercial. I mean, you couldn't make that up. It's crazy, isn't it? If it was really him, if that was the guy, I was thinking about this the other day, but do you think that second Sonny Liston Muhammad Ali fight was fake? I think they were both fake. I think they were both clearly fake, as far as I'm concerned. Thanks for answering the question. I was just curious what you thought, since many Christian channels are declaring Trump as the Antichrist, when truth is nobody will know until it happens. Yeah, he's not the Antichrist. I don't think so. Anyway,
Yeah, screw politics, screw political communities, screw being red pilled too. Find your way in life. Find a good woman that makes you happy. Don't alienate yourself from everyone and everything. Find happiness. I agree. I agree. But make sure that you preach the gospel at the same time. You know, make sure that you turn from sin, repent, and trust in Jesus to be your Lord and Savior, that you shall be saved. That's what's most important, you know, and take care of yourself and yours. That's all you can do, you know. I'm not a Christian, but I've been looking into it recently, and it's crazy how many things have been correctly predicted. Yep, well, look, many Bible prophecies are being fulfilled before our very eyes, and you'd have to be ignorant not to see it at this point in time, you know. You'd have to be. Jesus Christ is the only way to the Father. They want Trump gone because he's pledged to cut all funding and military aid to Ukraine. But look, here's the thing. Trump's what, 78 years old, something like that. If they wanted him gone, I think there'd be easier and more subtle ways of getting rid of him that would create a lot that wouldn't make him a martyr, if you know what I mean. I'm not saying, like, I'm not even suggesting anything here. I'm just saying, just thinking about it logistically, that there would be easier and more effective ways of getting him out the way, wouldn't there? Of getting rid of him, you know? And that's all I'm saying. Yeah, red meat's getting expensive, which is why you should get as much of it as you can while you still can, you know? Yeah, this stream should be what can we eat? Do you know what? I'll do that at some point. I'll do a stream and I'll just eat for the whole stream. Like I'll have like what one day, let's say like my missus is out at her mum's or something, and I'm in myself and I have to make my own dinner. I'll stream and I'll make my dinner and I'll eat it on a live, and you guys can tell me what you think of it. Maybe we can eat together. We can have like a virtual dinner party or something. That'd be quite fun. I would enjoy that. That'd be fun. Fury won't beat Usyk. I think his win will. I think his will to win will be less now that he isn't undefeated. Well, that's what I think too. Because again, he was seen stumbling out of a pub, and he's gained weight again. He's delusional. Like, he seems delusional about the first fight. He seems to think he won it. So, you know, is he taking the necessary precautions to make sure that he's better prepared in the rematch than he was the first time? Maybe, but it doesn't sound like it to me. So I'm not holding out hope. And I think Usyk has proven at this point in time that he's not only is he the better fighter, but he's the consummate professional. So I'm very confident in him going into the rematch, personally, you know. Isn't worth surrounding yourself with constant negativity that you have no control with. You have no control or focus on the things that you can change within your... Yeah, absolutely. I've been saying that a long time, and you know, I spent a long time worrying about all this stuff, about politics and that, and I realized it was a waste of time and a waste of energy. So I'm just focusing on my own life, what I can change in my own life, and I think I suggest you all do the same. Because if you get your shit under control, you're more people are more likely to respect you and to listen to you. You know. I think that's I think that's very important. Hi, I'm new. Yeah, good to see you here. God bless you, my friend. I'm bored of waiting for Janibek to do something. Yeah, his career has been relatively inconsequential so far, but I do think he's a very technically skilled fighter. I think he's very, very talented, and I think if he gets the right fight that could bring the best out of him, I think we'll see a better performance than we've ever seen. You know, and maybe he'll be better at 168. Who knows? Less drained. Who knows? Rump steak is one of my favorite cuts. Proper under it. Oh, I love it, man. I love it, especially a nice big fat thick one that's medium rare, of course. Absolutely beautiful. At least we're not treat a dog. Wait, at least
you will not treat a dog to a sirloin. I gave a dog a sirloin once. My we were looking after my girlfriend's mum's dog, Jack Russell, and I gave her like a big bit of sirloin with the big fat on the end of it, and she loved it. I did. Yeah, they love it. A lot of the concentration stuff comes from Joe Rogan. Yeah, I've seen a few Joe Rogan clips about it lately. Not a fan of Joe Rogan personally, but I do watch some of his clips from time to time. Alexander Usyk actually seems like a sound guy to go on a night out with. Yeah, he does. Like Usyk's one of these guys who he has like an infectious personality. You'd love to spend time with the guy, even if you don't speak Russian. The guy would just make you piss yourself laughing with everything he says. You know, with all that I am feel. Like you'd love it, wouldn't you? Yeah, I agree. Gassiev would get inside and would knock Wilder out. I think he would. Mate, True Geordie knows nothing about boxing if he's saying that. Wilder would get absolutely smashed by Usyk. Absolutely smashed. The devil fights God continually, yet, but he'll never win because God is the creator. You see, the devil can't create, he can only corrupt, whereas God can create. Yo, shout out to Sven Otke. God bless you, man. Trump's situation is extremely weird and dodgy. I don't trust Trump at all. He's always flashing signals. But I guess America is the same as the UK in that both choices are bad, but one is worse. Yeah. You vote for either conservative or liberal. All you get is liberal politics, no matter what, no matter who you vote for. It's all the same, you know. I'm not even sure the real Biden is still alive, but I've seen photographs of Biden zoomed in. It definitely looks like he's wearing a mask. And not only that, if you look at old videos of Biden, like old interviews, he doesn't seem like the same guy. I know he's older now and he's like senile and whatnot, but even his opinions and his worldview was completely different like 10 years ago. Like it wasn't even the same guy, you know? The Antichrist is described in the Bible as someone that'll be loved by the world. Trump definitely isn't loved by the world. See, that's exactly my way of looking at it. I believe that if the Antichrist does come, he'll be like universally loved. Nobody will be allowed to criticize him. Nobody will be allowed to speak out about him. He'll be like in charge of the entire establishment with everybody backing him. And you know, it'll be a situation where so many people will be tricked into believing that he's legit. And I don't think Donald Trump is that guy. I don't think he's the Antichrist. I mean, they say it about every president. Remember, they said it about Obama. They used to say Obama was the Antichrist. I mean, come on. Like, yeah, he's not the Antichrist. He's not. Trump is another Zio. Don't get too attached. Better than Biden, but who is? Yeah, I mean, better than Biden. That's like saying, I don't know. He's better than Jeffrey Dahmer. He's better than Jimmy Savile. You know, I mean, it's like saying he's a better boxer than Mark Demore. You know, that's what it's like. Have you seen the video of Biden completely ignoring the black woman at an event? He accidentally went back to his old based way. Yeah, yeah, he did as well. Yeah. do you know the funniest video of Biden that I saw? The one where he goes up to Elton John and he says he addresses the crowd and he says to Elton John, he's like, "This guy here, this guy is responsible for the AIDS epidemic." And then like Elton John's face was like pure tripping him. That was so funny. I couldn't believe it when I seen that. So funny. Imagine you doing a stream eating and we'll join your live and eat together and show ourselves what we're yeah, we'll do. I tell you what, that'll be my next live, I think. In my next live, I'll do it with dinner. I'll have dinner on I'll do like a dinner live stream. So it'll be kind of like a mukbang video. And yeah, I'll show you guys what I'm eating. I'll eat it on camera. How about that? And then like, obviously, if you want, you can eat along with me, like whatever yous have got. That'll be interesting. And again, I'm going to make some like food related content because you know it's something that people on YouTube seem to like. They like to see like diet and nutrition food related content.
eating videos. They're quite popular, you know. If you're working class, don't expect a politician to save you. The working class needs a grassroots, authentic movement. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And it needs to be from outside of government. It can't be like a Reform Party or something, or a UKIP or something like that, which are just like factions within the Tory party. It can't be anything like that. It's got to be it's got to be like a total grassroots movement. It's got to have some sort of militant approach to things, you know, so things can actually change. There's got to be an actual community that forms around it and that actually has some sort of power, you know, not just like lobbying power, but like actual physical power. Like they've got to have a lot of businesses, a lot of finances on board. They've got to create local jobs, have a local economy of their own, and they've got to have some understanding of how society actually functions. Otherwise, there's no point, because you'd just be wasting your time, you know. Government is a complete waste of time. Like you say, it's got to be grassroots, you know. And yeah, you're right, Nordic. It's probably all theatre. Probably is. That's the thing. Look, it's too perfect for me. He was shot in the ear. Look, it could be an act of God. That's what I'm saying. It could be. Perhaps God was protecting Donald Trump from that bullet. Perhaps he had him turn his head at that precise moment to have it just clip his ear. And perhaps he has plans for him. I do believe that God is sovereign, right? But to me, the situation, it reeks, doesn't it? It's too perfect. I mean, look, are you telling me that some stupid kid with glasses that was in a Black Rock commercial is the guy that they're going to hire to take out the president? No, they're going to hire a much more subtle and much more sophisticated assassin for something like that, right? It probably would happen behind closed doors. It wouldn't happen in public. The only reason why it would happen in public is if it's some sort of statement, as if they want people to be influenced by it. They want to create some sort of martyr. I just don't know, man. I don't know what the agenda is. I'm not going to pretend to know because I don't. But I do believe that God is sovereign. Yep, grassroots before any political movement. I agree. Leeds experience the benefits of cultural enrichment. So I've heard. Yeah, I know nothing about it. True Geordie is a degenerate scumbag, Sodom and Gomorrah cosplayer. Yeah, that guy's a creep. He is. Pooh Geordie, that's what he is. Yeah, so I've heard. The fact that people actually listen to that clown Andrew Tate is hilarious to me. Mate, I can't listen to that guy for more than a few seconds without pure cringing. He comes across as like a LARPing edgelord serial killer to me. That's what he comes across as, you know, just a weirdo. We're entering into the realms of different dimension. Chimpanzees of tomorrow. Jamie, pull up that video on the dimensions of chimps. It's probably the US election 2024 is probably just Kang and Kodos from The Simpsons. Kodos, these earthlings are losing us ratings. I don't know what to do, Kang. I don't know. They say stuff like that, don't they? Joe Biden walks like Michael Myers. That's what he does as well. And his face is, you know, his mask is like, if he is wearing a mask, it's like Michael Myers, isn't it? I think we are coming towards the end times. I don't know exactly how close, but I would say probably within the next 50 to 100 years. That's the thing. It could be any time. We never know. We never know when the end times are going to come. Would you rather drink Diet Iron Brew from a bath drain lacking Saltburn, or hold your offspring and let Sleepy Joe sniff them? I'll take my Iron Brew, because my Diet Iron Brew in the bath, because I wouldn't let Joe Biden near any children. No child deserves to be subjected to that kind of trauma, because they'd never get over it ever. You know. Yep, only true believers will be able to see through the propaganda of the Antichrist. The normies will be brainwashed by it, but true believers like us will see right through it. We will not be fooled. You're still losing weight. How's it going? Yeah, it's fine. My weight's feeling good right now. I've not weighed myself in a few weeks, but I feel like it's going down, like gradually. And I feel fitter, stronger than ever. So yeah, so good. As far as I can tell, you know. Have you seen the clip where Biden introduces Ukrainian President Zelensky as President Putin? I've not seen that, no. But it sounds like something Biden will do, being all senile, you know. Farage is totally controlled opposition. Farage is just a Tory. That's all he is. I've talked about it on here before. He'll like either found or join a new party, you know, like UKIP or the Brexit Party or Reform Party or whatever. And then he'll use them to get all the normie conservatives to vote the Tories, you know, because he abandons the party and then goes back with Tory. So yeah, he's just a Tory recruiter as far as I'm concerned, you know. It's kind of funny, the chart of immigration rates under Trump's previous reign was what literally saved his life. Yeah, because he turned to look at that, which was when he supposedly got shot. So yeah, shout out to the illegal immigration chart. It saved the day, apparently. Yeah. But could have been an act of God. Who knows? Would you rather be forced to listen to 4 hours of Andrew Tate talking or 4 hours of Ben Shapiro talking? Andrew Tate, because Ben Shapiro just listening to, yes, but we need to stop white supremacy because white supremacy and because blah, blah, blah. I think what you said there can be construed as anti-Semitic. Like, I'm not listening to that for 4 hours. I'd rather listen to Andrew Tate than that if I had to. I mean, I'd rather listen to neither, but if I had to listen to one, it would be Andrew Tate. Sean Strickland has a very base take on Andrew Tate. Yeah, I heard that. I did. And called him out for being a con artist and said Tate wouldn't even be able to look him in the eyes if they were in the same room together. Yeah. Yeah, could you imagine? Like, see if those two had a fight. Like, Sean Strickland would absolutely batter Andrew Tate. He'd smash him. Mate, I would beat Andrew Tate. I'm not even kidding. Like, imagine what Sean Strickland would do to him. That's a mismatch. I was paraphrasing Joe Rogan, by the way, with the chimps thing. All right, yeah. Shrek 5. Oh, bugger off, man. Shrek 5. No one wants a Shrek 5. They're just going to ruin it. Why do they have to kill everything? They have to they take something that's like perfect, that's good, like Shrek, and they just bastardize it and ruin it. Oh well, at least the people on Quora will be happy. They'll have more stuff to talk about, you know. Yeah, and Andrew Tate's a complete degenerate. Wouldn't surprise me if it was a sodomite too. Just a complete degenerate as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, Shrek 5 and Toy Story 5. Mate, Toy Story 4 gave me depression. It really made me sad, you know. Andrew Tate judges things like promiscuity with women. Yeah, this is the same guy who got booted out of Big Brother because he had a fetish. He had choking fetish videos leaked on the internet. That guy's an absolute creep. He's a sexual deviant. He's a fraud. And not only that, but he's also an obvious government plan. I suspect he's a CIA plan, most likely. Probably Andrew Tate, even though that would be unbearable. Listening to Ben Shapiro talk about Israel for 4 hours, yeah, man, I can't deal with it. Oh yeah, Big Mike Obama and his big Corey. Has Andrew Tate ever explicitly mentioned the you-know-who's? I think he has, actually, yeah. Believe it or not. I think Strickland could legitimately kill Tate if they thought. Mate, he destroys him easily. Smashes him to pieces. Tate had no defense. He just leaned back and he'd get clocked by a big lead left hook or an overhand right from Strickland. He'd get knocked out. I'm not even joking when I say that I'd pick Charlie Zelenoff to give Andrew Tate a good fight. I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, I see what you're saying. You know? He could probably land a shot on him, most likely. Ben Shapiro
crapped his pants when a transformer threatened to put him in hospital. Yeah, he did. He's a total pussy. I'd have bitch slapped his little tiny hat off his head, you know. Like, that is anti-Semitic. And then I'd have said, Christ is King. I'd have put him on his knees and forced him to say, Christ is Lord. It'd be like that scene with Shia LaBeouf. You ever seen it where he goes, say Christ is Lord. Say Christ is Lord. That's what I would have done to Ben Shapiro. But that is anti-Semitic. Shh, say Christ is Lord. Yeah, how's it going, Daz? Good to see you here, man. God bless you. Andrew Tate had a legit kickboxing career. Yeah, but if you look at the league that he fought in at kickboxing, it was a very, very like the competition was very, very low. He didn't fight any world-class kickboxers. Like, he wasn't like fighting these top guys from like Thailand and, you know, these top Dutch kickboxers. He wasn't fighting these guys. You know, he was fighting in a very specific league. It was kind of like, you know, like the UFC, but it was one company with a whole bunch of fighters signed, and they had sort of in-house tournaments. They weren't very good fighters. And Andrew Tate, not only that, Andrew Tate's record keeps changing. I think it changes every time you hear it. And it seems like it was very manufactured. And, you know, he had like first round knockout losses against journeyman and all that. He wasn't very good. I don't think Tate was like a world-class kickboxer. He was like a domestic level kickboxer at best, as far as I'm concerned. They're bringing out a new Shrek movie just in time for when Wayne Rooney gets sacked by Plymouth. Yeah, Wayne Rooney could be the live action Shrek. I wonder who could be Fiona. Try to think who could be Fiona. Yeah, they could have that chick from the Avengers movies, you know, the redhead one, and just give her a fat suit. She'd kind of look like Fiona. Haven't watched Kung Fu Panda 4, but I'm not planning to watch it ever. Yeah, I'm scared to watch it in case they ruin my boy. Plus, Jack Black is a fat, like, degenerate piece of shit, so I'm not watching any movie involving that fat cunt ever again. He can piss off, you know. I watched the old ones. I'm not watching anything new involving him, you know. Andrew Tate wasn't even a world-class kickboxer, like his fanboys like to make out. He was in minor organizations. He would be destroyed by the elite guys like Rico Verhoeven. Yeah, exactly. If he were to fight like the top guys, that, you know, the Dutch kickboxers, like the guys at the top, he would get destroyed. Like you say, he just fought in a minor league. It was a league of you know, sort of regional fighters. It wasn't like world-class fighters. I don't think he ever fought a world-class fighter. I don't think he did. It's a shame Fury couldn't make it to his career-defining fight without being totally shot and unprepared. I'm convinced if Fury had any punch resistance left, Usyk would be a joke against him. Don't know about that, but yeah, it would be it'd be a lot better for him, you know. It wouldn't hurt his chances. Give his chances a lot better, or make them a lot better, you know. It's just a coincidence that Andrew Tate, Tucker Carlson, and Alex Jones have CIA ties. Yeah, just a coincidence. That's totally a coincidence. It's not like it doesn't mean that they are, you know, government plans or anything like that, does it? Andrew Tate was a bum hunter. Some of the best kickboxing light heavyweights, like, I'm not going to pronounce his name, and they would school Tate easily. Yeah, they would. Yeah, those guys would absolutely smash Tate easily if they're like elite fighters, you know. Like you, I dislike it when a decent film becomes a cash cow or franchise. Most films don't merit or need a sequel, and 2 films is plenty. No need to push it further. Yeah, like it happens to all of them. Like, that's why sometimes it's better for a movie not to make money, then it doesn't get a sequel, and then it becomes a great standalone classic that never gets ruined. You know, a movie like The Iron Giant, for example, that movie bombed, never got a sequel. And it's a standalone classic that a lot of people love and look back on with nostalgia, you know. Whereas a movie like Shrek made a lot of money. They had to make a bunch of sequels, which were nowhere near as good as the original, you know. The original was the best one, you know. If the boxing match had happened between Jake Paul and Tate, Jake would have knocked him out. That would have been an interesting fight, actually. At the time, I favoured Andrew Tate, but in retrospect, without the ability to kick, I think Jake Paul would be very dangerous.
But I think I still think I'd still give Andrew Tate a chance because Jake Paul has no stamina, like no stamina at all. I think Andrew Tate's probably a little bit more athletic, so he might have had a chance, you know. I never understood why you like Jordan Peterson over Andrew Tate. All Jordan Peterson does is chill for Israel and cry on camera. Would never have the balls to step in a ring. Well, Jordan Peterson, at least he's not a pimp and a slave owner and a guy who, you know, conned thousands of men out of their money. You know, he's not a guy who sat there like messaging men in a chat room while they were jacking off to videos of some young girl's feet. You know, to my knowledge, Jordan Peterson never did anything like that. So I would favor him over Andrew Tate any day. But that's just me. You know, that's just me. You might disagree, is what it is. But yeah, I would take Jordan Peterson any day. Yeah. Tell you what, I've noticed a lot more Christians delivering the message on the streets recently. Yeah, there's a lot of preachers. And again, those preachers have got balls of steel, man. I wish I had anywhere near the kind of courage that those people had, you know. We can't be far off because in the end times, sexual deviancy against children will be accepted. Look at what those pride people are doing, allowed naked near children in the streets. Yeah, and they get away with it because they're government affiliated a lot of the time, you know. Yeah, but Joe Rogan had a legit taekwondo career. Yeah, I don't think Joe Rogan can fight personally. I don't think he's ever. Like, he might have competed in like points taekwondo or whatever, but I don't think he's ever had like a full contact fight in his life. You know, he doesn't seem the type to me. Tate literally never beat anybody of note and got beat by D-level fighters. Yeah, he did. I mean, he was knocked out in the first round by like journeyman kickboxers. So it's not like he's like separated himself from the competition, even in that league, which, as we've already talked about, was a minor league. You know, this idea that he was a world champion. I mean, define world champion. Like, if I win the WBU title, does that make me world champion? I guess it depends on your point of view, what you consider credible, you know. But like, you know, if Andrew Tate's world champion, then you know you could make like a white collar world title and become a world champion, and it's just like becoming a world champion in white collar boxing is just as worthy as far as I'm concerned, you know. If Tate has named the you-know-whos, I have more respect for him. Not many of these grifters will even go there. Alex Jones. Oh, Alex Jones would never do that. I can specifically remember when David Duke called out Alex Jones on a live, and I think they took it down because Alex Jones just got tore apart by him, you know. I remember that. There's a video of William Lane Craig debating Ben Shapiro about Jesus being king, and Ben was losing the debate and tried to change the subject as soon as he realized he didn't have a rebuttal. He does that. See, Ben Shapiro can only debate with children. He can't debate with an adult who's actually articulate and knows what they're talking about. Margot Robbie should be Fiona. Yeah, just give her a fat suit and like a red wig, and she can be Fiona. Fiona, back away from my wife. What are you doing in my swamp? The best thing Jack Black ever did was portray Jeff Portney in Tropic Thunder. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that movie. Jordan Peterson is another one. Anyone who won't mention the you-know-whos isn't worth listening to. Tell you what I watched last week. That Mexican politician with the giant fake Gonzalez-style bodysuit. He was like a slow-motion Joe Joyce with some club fighter power. Yeah, Quaggy. Jorge Quaggy with his muscle suit. That was funny, man. That was so funny. I like rewatching that from time to time. It's funny. Yeah, I am going to get back to doing them eventually when I can find the time. Oh, one sec. You okay? Oh, cheers. Thank you. Love you. Where was I? Oh, man. Look at this.
Sausage and eggs. Told you I'm eating a lot of protein. I need it. I need it, man. Oh, that'll slow this stream down big time. All right, here we are. Guess we'll be starting my dinner stream earlier than I thought, eh? Got my sausage and eggs. Wasn't expecting that. I've already had dinner. But again, it's a weekend, so I'm stocking up on protein, you know, going back at the gym on Monday. I blame the men who are dumb enough to waste their money on that to begin with. Yeah, I do too. But at the same time, it has to be it has to be taken into consideration what type of person you would have to be to sit there on a chat making like sexual comments towards other men to get their money, you know, while showing them like explicit content. Like you got to be a little bit gay to do that. You got to be a little bit of a deviant to do that. Yeah, I actually saw that today. I saw some Africans. I think they were Nigerians or something. Yeah, so there was Africans preaching Christianity in the streets. And I'll tell you one thing. I wish that our people had that kind of balls. I really do. I really wish they did, you know. Strickland was beating up an elite level kickboxer in sparring a few weeks ago. The guy can box pretty well for an MMA fight. And yeah, do you know what impresses me about Strickland? Is he has that James Toney kind of shoulder roll, and you very rarely see that in MMA. You know, you very rarely see that kind of, you know, sophisticated timing and defense and the ability to parry and stuff like that. Like you very rarely see that in MMA, at least at that level. And you know, when he fought Israel Adesanya, he was cutting off the ring and applying pressure, but it was like steady pressure, like low volume pressure. And he was using the shoulder roll and a Philly shell to just parry away anything that Israel Adesanya tried to stick on him, you know? I thought that was very, very impressive. Thunderdome. Shout out to Thunderdome, man. God bless you. Great to see you here, bro. Every time. I couldn't preach on the streets. If one of them demons got in my face, I'll not be able to hold myself back like these preachers do. Yeah, like I said, these preachers, they've got balls of steel, these people, and they're able to hold their nerve and control their emotions and preach the gospel to the lost. And I think it's admirable and it's beautiful, in fact, that people can actually do that. It's beautiful, man. I really think it is. Yeah, God bless you too, man. Yep, salute to Ant. John Peterson has limitations and has outlived his shelf life, but Andrew Tate is several stratospheres worse, not even in the same conversation. Yeah, again, look, Jordan Peterson, for all his flaws, he's not a pimp. He's not a pimp. You know, he's not like enslaving underage women and forcing them to perform sex acts on the internet and then, you know, making sexual comments to other men online, you know, to try and gaslight them into thinking they're in a relationship with some e-girl. He's not doing that, is he? So again, I don't think there's any comparison there. I think that's a, you know, to say that they're even comparable, I think is a bit of a stretch, in my opinion. You know, Rogan likes watching or having the thought of fighting, but has never actually had one fight. Yeah, yeah, I don't think he has. I certainly don't think he's had like I said, I don't think he's had a full contact fight in his life. I don't think he ever has, you know. Huey Fury versus Gigachaw for the WBU belt. Yeah. Well, the winner of that would be as legit a world champion as Andrew Tate was, you know, as far as I'm concerned. Because the quality would be even better, if truth be told, you know. They're both better fighters than him, in my opinion. I couldn't debate Shapiro I'd be too tempted to knock that silly little hat off his head. Plus, his voice would probably give me ear cancer. Yeah. Again, I don't understand how you can listen to someone that has a voice like that. A really like nasally, like estrogen-filled voice. I don't get it. How could you? I mean, that probably sounds like, judgmental, but hey, I'm only human, Yeah. Sweet preachers definitely have the gift of patience and self-control from the Holy Spirit. And some people, you either have that or you don't. Some people do, some people don't. Didn't Margot Robbie voice Mrs. McGregor in one of the Peter Rabbit movies? I've no idea. I've never seen those movies. Is that the movie with James Corden? Didn't he voice the rabbit? I've never seen it, but I remember hearing about it and that. Oh no, not again. Not food. Not food. I'm gonna make you even hungrier than before, ain't I? But yeah, this is. I've got sausages and eggs here. Just pure protein, man. As I say, I need the protein because I've been doing so much weight training, and my legs are killing me from doing squats. And I'm going to be doing more on Monday and adding more weight. So I need the protein. I need to recover, So good. I eat for recovery. Oh, yeah, they're making a Gladiator sequel. Yeah, I'm never watching that. No chance. I'm not even a big fan of the first Gladiator, but it's watchable. But I'm definitely not watching the sequel. No chance. Where are the pancakes? I ain't got any pancakes. I would like some, though. I love pancakes. That's what I should have on one of my food videos. I should eat pancakes on camera. Do you know what would be nice? Pancakes and Nutella. That'd be nice. Who remembers when the small-hatted tunneler called Cletus Selden was being massively overhyped by HBO, then got schooled by a sea-level fight? Yeah, he was rubbish. I remember him, Cletus Selden. He fought on the undercard of Saunders versus Lemieux, and he got schooled by some French contender. And he kind of went into obscurity after that, I think. Fresh ginger tea, nice. Nice, that'd be lovely. I like tea. I'm surprised some African Christian knew about the replacement. He felt sorry for his Europeans, but at the same time said they deserved it for their godless behavior and allowing it. Yeah, well, to an extent, he's right. I mean, you look at the absolute state of your average council estate in the UK, and how trashy white people behave. It's like just white trash everywhere now, and these people are just godless, and they've completely forgotten their history, forgotten their culture, and are just in a constant state of self-hatred. So they get what they deserve. They're bringing it on themselves. Most people in this country are happy to be replaced and are happy to give up their culture, basically. I believe if Usyk were around during the biblical time, he would have been one of God's chosen warriors. Yeah. He would have been like a general or something, leading the armies for sure. I mean, he's got the warrior spirit about him, hasn't he? It makes sense that Tate chose Islam. They line up the best with his life choices. Yeah, being able to beat women, have them chained up in your basement, and being able to scam people and take things that don't belong to you. Islam's full of that, and it gives him an excuse to behave the way he does, No wonder the right are losing if people like Shapiro are being set up to make it look unimpressive. Mate, I've been saying for a while, Ben Shapiro should be shunned from the conservative movement.
he should literally be blacklisted from any conservative network or conservative platform, as far as I'm concerned, you know? Because he's literally a government plant, you know? Imagine Conor McGregor street preaching. Do you know, that would be awesome? Like, Conor McGregor's got the voice for it and the charisma for it. It would be great if he was a street preacher. I would love that. Love pancakes. Yeah, I love pancakes too. When you say he was enslaving women, you sound like you're repeating Jewish lies. Well, it's not lies. If he, mate, are you here defending Andrew Tate? Because if you are, please be upfront about it. He mate, he admitted numerous times to having sex slaves. He admitted numerous times to being a pimp. He admitted numerous times to scamming people. The dude's literally a scam artist who ran a pyramid scheme. All right. He admitted to committing tax evasion and moving to Romania literally for the very reason that the government was corrupt, incompetent, and he could pay them off to run his scam and his bloody oh man, like his operations. Let's not be too graphic, but we look, he's admitted all this. He's snitched on himself many times. All right, the crimes that he was confused of or that he was accused of are things that he's openly admitted on many occasions over the years. Please don't come here trying to defend a scammer and a pimp and a degenerate like that. Okay, it's not lies at all. And the fact that he has obvious government ties. I mean that's a pretty major talking point, I would say, you know. Tate is expanding his audience to manipulate Muslims. Well, Muslims, you know, Islam is all about manipulation. You know, what do you think Dawa is? It's literally deception. Yeah. Yeah. The best part of Tropic Thunder is Downey Jr. playing a ghetto black man. Yeah, he's like, "What do you mean, you people?" He's like, "What do you mean, you people?" Yeah, you just went full retard. Never go full retard. Love pancakes with fruit in them. Yum. That'll be nice. Went for a 12-mile walk this morning and my legs are sore, praying for rain so I can have tomorrow off. Yeah. See, I was the day before yesterday, I was in the gym and I was doing like heavy squats. And I was doing like a lot of reps too. And I also, in addition to that, I also did leg press. So the next day, like the day I had that steak dinner, my legs were so sore and so stiff. But eating that steak made them feel so much better. Like, steak is really, really good for recovery. You know, it's a great source of protein, you know. Maybe they do not realize they're being replaced. They see nothing wrong with watching football. Yeah, going to Ibiza and getting wasted. Yeah, those people are just scum, you know. Someone made a meme of John Fury being Shrek. That's funny. I could see that. I'm Pride. I've told people for years the Tates are total scum. Yeah, they are. They're literally pimps. They're pimps. They're scammers. They're snake oil salesmen. They're propagandists. I can't believe anybody actually believes they're legit or ever did believe they were legit. It's not a good sign for society, you know. That's a good point, Dyson. They're too busy obsessing over who can kick a ball into a net the most times. Yeah, I know. Football is literally for normies, you know. But you think he did not make those women rich. Mate, I don't give a shit. That's completely irrelevant. I'm not saying I give a shit about those women. What I'm saying is what he did is morally wrong. And it's sleazy. And he's literally scamming men. Scamming men with what he's doing. And again, the guy's a complete degenerate and a fraud. That's what he is. Yeah, shout out to Hawker. God bless you. The 304s he was around, obviously, doesn't make Tate decent people. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Gypsy Crusader would knock out Andrew Tate. Yeah, he would. You can see a fake conservative by a simple enough litmus test. Are they defending autonomous nation states or pushing globalism? Yep.
Absolutely. USA has good diners where you get all you can drink coffee and great tasting unhealthy breakfast. Yeah, like a big ass fry up. I love a fry up, man. I love it. I've not had like a proper big fry up in a while, man, because I've been dieting and that, but might have one pretty soon. I love them. Like a proper full Scottish breakfast. If you guys don't know what a full Scottish is, a full Scottish breakfast, right? Think of a full English breakfast, but like way bigger and with square sausage and potato scone and black pudding. That's a full Scottish breakfast. Tristan Tate's more annoying than Andrew. Even more annoying than Andrew. I don't think I've ever listened to Tristan Tate, so I wouldn't know. Yep, nothing lower than a pimp. Pimps are absolute scum. I have no respect for pimps at all. Pimps are just degenerates. Can't stand pimps. Tyson Benidorm expat lifestyle fury. Yep, the Tates are pimps. Pimps prey on weak-minded females, pure weakness. Yeah, and imagine needing a female to provide a living for you instead of taking care of your own household. You know, it's cowardly as far as I'm concerned. Like there weren't other ways to make money as a man. You know. Yeah, I would agree with that. I'd agree with that. Yeah, playing FIFA is more entertaining than real football. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, Hawk. I was saying it would have been an interesting fight, Jake Paul versus Tate. Like, if Tate wasn't allowed to kick, I don't know how good his boxing fundamentals would be. I doubt they'd be very good, personally. I think he'd get taken out, probably. I don't know how to stop them going to Ibiza, flood it with migrants, make it a France-like shithole, yeah. I mean, I don't understand why. Like, look, anything you could do in Ibiza, you can do here. You know, if you want to get belligerently drunk, you can do that here. You know, I live in Glasgow. There's no sort of shortage of bars. You know. Yeah, Tate is a hypocrite when he's preaching about morality, unless he's disavowed his past, which he hasn't, because again, the guy's a complete degenerate, and he literally promotes polygamy and everything. Greg's and Weatherspoon's breakfast. I've never had a Weatherspoon's breakfast, but I've had like breakfast out of Greg's. I know they do bacon rolls and stuff, and like sausage, bean, and cheese melts and steak bakes and all that. Those are quite nice. But it's really bad for you, though. Greg's really bad for you. Is a home invader lower than a pimp? I'm assuming you're talking about George Floyd. Yeah, probably. They're probably worse. Greg's is disgusting and massively overrated. Yeah, Greg's is one of them things. Like, see if you're starving and you don't have a lot of time, you could jump into Greg's and grab a steak bake and it'll fill you up. Like, it'll make you feel like shit for half the day, but it'll fill you up at least, you know? And it's somewhat tasty, but I wouldn't recommend going there regularly, you know? Yeah, there's loads of Greg's where I live. I remember there's like one shopping centre in Glasgow or just outside of Glasgow where there was like 3 separate Greg's in the one shopping centre. It's crazy. Oh, there's that many. Tim Hortons, big breakfast wrap and pancakes are awesome. Yeah, there's a Tim Hortons in Glasgow near Central Station. I think Tim Hortons is a Canadian business, isn't it? But yeah, there's one in Glasgow. Men who listen to someone like Tate usually had parental issues in the past and are just looking for someone hip to fill such a void with BS rhetoric. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, how's it going, pal? Good to see you here, man. My Polish brother, how's it going? One thing about social media, you never know about guys like Tate Peterson and Alex Jones. You never know what their true opinion is. They could be the opposite image of what they portray. Yeah, because we've mentioned before, it's verified that they've all got government connections, all of them. They all could easily be CIA plans just LARPing. Could just be playing a role, you know? Yeah, Andrew Tate, I mean, he's been knocked out in the first round, hasn't he? And he's been knocked out several times at journeyman level in kickboxing. So I'll have to imagine he doesn't have a very good chin, you know? Might be worth doing a list of top 10 Scottish stuff. Still Game and Iron Brew have to be on there, yeah. Well, Iron Brew's number 1. And yeah, Still Game is awesome. I love Still Game.
I'm gonna need to watch them again. They're awesome. Tate has ET neck with a baby's head. Yeah, yeah, he does as well. ET phone home. Makes for a big target, you know. Does Greg's mess with your stomach? Yeah, yeah, it does. Like, see, whenever I eat anything out of Greg's, not so much if it's like a sandwich, but see if I eat like a steak bake or something, I feel like shit. I feel horrible for like the whole day, you know. But it's tasty. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Greg steak bake is the poor man's beefy bake from Still Game. Yeah, it is. It literally is. That's what it's based on. That's what the beefy bake is. It's just another name for a steak bake. It's the exact same thing. From Henderson's. I got Jake Paul knocking out Andrew Tate. Yeah, probably. Probably would, yeah. What's your views on the CrowdStrike Microsoft Crush? I don't know what that is. I've no idea. Never heard of it. I don't think I have anyway. Still Game is one of the best comedies. Yeah, I love Still Game. It's hilarious. It's one of the funniest things ever. Like, do you know what the sad thing is though about it for me is the fact that most people around the world wouldn't understand it. See if you've never lived in Glasgow and you don't understand the accent and the mannerisms and the references. It's you wouldn't understand the humor and why it was so funny. But like, it's one of them things. See if you do understand it, if you get the writing and the sense of humor, it's incredible. It's so funny. It's one of them. Like, it really is so funny. You're so right what you said about Greg's. It's like the place where you could go if you're just desperately hungry, just to fill you up for a while. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's crap. It's like poor quality food, but it's so filling. Like I said, if you're starving, just grab yourself a sausage, bean, and cheese melt or a steak bake. It'll fill you up all day, pretty much. You know. Is the small hat promoter still on the scene? Xbox. Oh, Dimitri Salita. Yeah, he's still around. Yeah, Tim Hortons Canadian. There's a few of them in several cities in the UK. Yeah, there's one right next to Central Station in Glasgow. No, but that sounds just like something Chisora would do. He's a complete scumbag. Not a fan of Tate. Half my comments are showing up. I'll take a pimp over a Zio, you Israel defender any day. Well, that's because you're an amoral individual. If you think that, a pimp is in any way supportable, you know, you must be amoral. Sven, yep, and I hope Joyce finishes him. He should not be fighting. Yeah, hopefully Chisora just gets brutally KO'd, retires, and we never have to see him again. That guy's just a thug, a scumbag, a degenerate piece of shit. Like you say, he's a bully and a thug and a scumbag. I hope he gets knocked out. John, just take a stand-up guy over all of them. Yeah, exactly. Get rid of all your Zio shills, your pimps, and your sodomites, and just support somebody like Usyk, you know, a stand-up guy, innit? I'm thinking about getting egg whites. You can get bottles of them, and it's 50g protein for every small bottle. I just stick with eggs. Like I eat eggs all the time, like with yolks and everything. Eggs are one of the best sources of protein because they fill you up, but they don't like make you put on too much weight, and they're just filled with protein. There's like plenty of protein in eggs. Like, I'll sometimes, like, see if I have a steak or sometimes I'll sometimes have like boiled eggs with it. I love eggs. Can have them with anything. If you're saying negative things about the tunnelers, that's probably why, Jonathan. The beefy bait was invented by Pete the Vagrant before he became a vagrant. That court case episode was brilliant. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? It's brilliant. Are you happy with this? And he's like, as happy as a gypsy's dog with two cocks. Yeah, there's too much censorship all over the internet. It's horrible. Yeah, some of my comments about the you-know-who's are not... Well, of course they are. You know the deal by now. There's not much I can do about it, and Greg's has become one of them places like a Bookies, pawnbrokers, or Turkish barbers. They're absolutely everywhere. Yeah, absolutely everywhere. Yeah, I like the sausage bean cheese melt as well. It's nice. Again, it's really bad for you, but it's nice. It's like an indulgence, basically. Sean Strickland said, people that latch on to Tate are total piece of shit and have no morals. Yeah, of course they are. Unless you just don't know any better. You don't know anything about the guy. Like, if you know the guy's a pimp and a scammer and you still support him, you're just a pathetic simp. You're literally simping for a man who wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire, and would literally sell you for $1 if he could. Yeah, Joyce and Chisora are fighting. And I think Chisora's getting knocked out. I think Joyce is going to put a beating on him and stop him, most likely. Unless he takes it easy on him. Yep, eggs have everything you need in them. I love eggs. I could eat eggs every single day. Every single day. I'm suffering right now because of that. Imagine working with people who don't have any creativity and need detained in order to complete the simplest task. Yeah. Eggs are great food, worth having the yolk, as that's where the vitamin D12 is. Yeah, exactly. There's so much nutrients in eggs. Like, you could probably live off eggs for a while. My favorite episode of Still Game is when the massive guy, yeah, Big Ennis, cleans up the town of Ned. That's so funny. Yeah, Big Ennis. You know what I think's funny? You know the scene where Victor walks in and Jack's like frying like a big ass steak. It's like a massive steak, and he's like, "Oh, how much did 3 of them set you back?" And he's just like, "Oh no, I didn't buy 3. These are yours." And like underneath it, there's just 2 regular steaks, but he's got like the big massive one for Big Ennis. The bit where he's like, he's got like a big massive soup pot, and there's a whole box of cereal poured into it and a whole carton of milk, and he's just like, I offered him a regular bowl and he just laughed at me. It's like keeping a bloody bear. He's like, I gave him a whole carton of eggs, he eats them like Smarties. Oh, it's brilliant. That episode's brilliant with Big Ennis. It's funny. I need to watch that again. I've not watched it in a while. Surely you're on Twitter, no? How do you get your news? No, I'm not allowed on Twitter. I'm permanently banned off Twitter. I was far too edgy for Twitter. Far too edgy for Twitter. Yeah, I need to get more eggs. Just trying to overclock protein intake. Salmon on Monday, steak and chicken throughout the week. Frozen veg and fruits usually. Yeah, that's good. Again, any source of protein is good. Salmon, steak, chicken, eggs. It's all good. Long as you're eating enough to recover, if you're training, it's all good. And if you're still at a calorie deficit, so you can keep your weight down. And try to consume a lot less refined carbohydrates and refined sugar. Don't sit there guzzling like Iron Brew, like I am. Don't do as I say, not as I do. Don't sit there guzzling a 2-liter bottle of Iron Brew while you're on a live stream. Drink water instead. I think Joyce and Chisora is going to be a brutal dogfight, probably, but I do think Joyce is going to come off the better from the fight. I think they put a special extra level of censorship on your channel. Hey, I wouldn't doubt it. This is probably the edgiest channel on YouTube, at least in the boxing community. So I bet you there's a few people watching. No doubt about it. There's people watching. Oh, egg sandwiches. Yeah, a nice piece of egg. Beautiful. Big Ennis and his bottle of Maduri, where he goes to the toilet and blocks it up. Yeah. Any Maduri. Yeah, I've drank raw eggs. I've done it before. Like in Rocky. It's nice. I actually like raw eggs. I like them. I remember we used to feed raw eggs to my ferrets back in the day. God bless them. God rest their souls. I'm trying to be in a surplus. I'm very skinny. All right, yeah. Well, in your case, you can eat whatever you want then. But me, I need a calorie deficit because I'm a fat ass. Yeah, I don't want to be a fat ass ever again. So I've got to train and I've got to eat to recover. Basically, that's what I'm doing. I cooked steak and 6 pack of eggs after lifting weights once. Yeah, that's probably the best thing to eat after lifting weights, like steak or fish with eggs, or just again and or chicken, like any source of protein. It's all good. Actually, looking forward to Joyce Chisora. Joyce beat the crap out of that punch drunk scumbag. Yeah, and hopefully Chisora retires afterwards and just stops, showing up in interviews and all that, and just leaves us alone. Just retire. Doesn't need the money, so he should just retire. I've cut out the bad pop. The worst thing is Lucozade, which seems okay. Or the worst thing you do is Lucozade. I sometimes have a Lucozade before the gym. Not always, but sometimes. Tried diet pop back when diet juice is disgusting. It gives me a headache. Probably the aspartame or whatever. It's horrible. What do we like in our omelets? I'm partial to a kidney bean omelet myself. I usually have cheese in an omelet. Beautiful. Love it. Omelet with cheese, lovely. I used to like McDonald's a lot. But the more I ate it, the more I didn't like. Yeah, I don't like McDonald's. I mean, it's okay. I can deal with it. Like I can eat chicken nuggets or like a cheeseburger or whatever, but it's not my go-to thing. Like if I was to go for fast food, it wouldn't be McDonald's. I'd prefer like a Burger King or like I was gonna say KFC, but they've gone right downhill. I don't like them anymore. So yeah, Burger King I'd rather go for if I was to get fast food. I don't eat a lot of fast food now though. I like a good quality steak or chicken or fish, and eggs. I'd rather go to prison than be drafted into a war. A pointless war, yeah. I'd rather go to prison than die in a pointless war also, you know. What would you do if you got drafted, or what do you think I would do? What do you think I would do? Seriously, do I even need to answer that? Come on now. Ham and cheese on. And why would I get drafted into a war for Israel? Why would that happen? Like, come on now. Yeah, ham and cheese omelets. I'm not a fan of Chisora, but I'm worried he could get seriously injured in this fight. Joyce tends to dish out slow beatings. Rather than sparking people out, could get really, really ugly. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's exactly what will happen. And couldn't happen to a nicer guy, could it? Okay. Anyone ever watch Super Size Me? Yeah, I saw that as a kid. I used to have that on DVD. I remember it was, if I remember rightly, it came in a newspaper. I think my parents bought a newspaper, and it came with with like a free DVD of Super Size Me in one of them little paper slip covers. And yeah, I watched it as a kid. To be honest, though, I think that whole thing was stupid, like that Super Size Me documentary, because I mean, first of all, the whole thing was flawed from the very beginning, because it's like the guy Morgan Spurlock, I think he died recently, the guy that was in it, but yeah, God bless him. But his whole thing was like it was a total gimmick. His whole thing was, oh, I'm gonna eat McDonald's 3 times a day, every day for like 30 days, and I'm like, okay, what are you trying to prove with this? Okay, everyone knows fast food is bad for you, right? Everyone knows that. It's an indulgence, it's a treat. Nobody's going to eat McDonald's every single day of their lives, three meals a day. Nobody's going to do that unless they're completely stupid and retarded. Nobody's going to do that. So what exactly was he hoping to prove with that documentary? Is he hoping to prove that eating an excessive amount of fast food every day is going to make you ill and make you gain weight? What was the point? It was just so gimmicky and stupid. But not only that, what that guy didn't disclose to the public is the fact he was also a raging alcoholic, which might have, skewed the results a little bit. You know, so I've heard anyway. He was apparently a raging alcoholic, and he didn't disclose that at the time of the documentary. So I don't know. I think the whole thing was stupid. You know, I think it was a really stupid, irresponsible documentary, as far as I'm concerned. But I have watched it. Yeah, I don't support genocide of the white or Palestinians. No McDonald's for me. Yeah, yeah. Fast food is all crap. Like nowadays, Burger King probably the best one though. What was your heaviest weight, Nordic? Or is that question about my heaviest weight? Probably about 17 stone, which is how many pounds is 17 stone? What is it? About 225, something like that. I say I probably about 225 is the heaviest I've been. Something along those lines. Maybe 230 at a push. I don't think I've been much heavier than that, but I'm only about 5'8", so yeah, that's clinically obese, you know. Pizza Hut is still okay. Hopefully there's a nice independent takeaway where you live. Yeah, I like Pizza Hut. I've not been in years though. Years and years since I had a Pizza Hut, but I used to love it as a kid. It was really nice. I prefer Papa John's though. There's a Papa John's across the road from me, and it's beautiful. I'll do that in a video one time. I'll make a video eating a Papa John's. You guys might enjoy it. That'll make you hungry, pretty much guaranteed. You should watch the epic mealtime video where they make a massive lasagna using tons of Big Macs and bacon. I'm curious to see that, actually. I'm curious to see it. Might be quite interesting. Why do a lot of people don't like Burger King? It's honest. I love Burger King. I've not had it in a while, again, because I'm trying to eat healthy, but I love Burger King. What I always get from Burger King, I always get the XL bacon double cheeseburger. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Just pop back on. You learn about food and war. Yeah, this has been a weird stream, hasn't it? 1 minute we're talking about food. Next minute we're talking about getting drafted into a war for Israel. I mean, what is this? I'd rather talk about food, though. Most wars have been about Israel, directly or indirectly. Yep, of course they have. Supersize Me has been debunked. Yeah, it has. Because again, look, the whole thing was like whether it was debunked or not, the whole thing was stupid from the very beginning. Nobody who isn't completely retarded is going to eat 3 full-size meals from McDonald's every single day of their life. Nobody's going to do that. Everybody knows fast food is bad for you, right? Ultra processed food is bad for you, right? Which is why if you're gonna consume it, you consume it responsibly, right? Every now and then, there's nothing wrong with having a McDonald's every now and then as a treat. There's nothing wrong with that. But to eat 3 full-size McDonald's meals every single day is absolutely irresponsible and stupid. And obviously, it's going to make you gain weight because the food is full of sugar, it's full of additives, all right? It's processed, it's unsanitary, it's high in calories, right? Obviously, if you do that 3 times a day for like a month or whatever, you're going to gain weight and it's going to affect your health. You're going to be somewhat unhealthy. But what was he trying to prove? And the fact that he's the fact that he was apparently, like, allegedly, he was apparently a raging alcoholic. That can't have helped the situation. I can imagine the liver problems he had were more caused by that than they were from eating McDonald's. So yeah, the whole documentary was stupid, and it was so flawed. And the fact that it got so much attention at the time just goes to show you how little education people have on food, nutrition, personal choice, responsibility and stuff like that. Like it's your responsibility to look after your own health. It's not McDonald's fault that you're fat if you are, I think that's the point. I think Chisora's all wrong for Joyce. Yeah, I still think Joyce will win because Chisora's shot. So I still think Joyce will win. That's just my opinion. I think he was suggesting that Americans eat an excessive amount of fast food. Yeah, well, they do. But again, everybody knows that fast food is bad for you. So I don't get what he was trying to prove, Subway or Greg's? No, sorry, Subway. Subway's way better than Greg's. Way better. I like a nice meatball marinara or a tuna sub. I like that. Yeah, he did. Yeah, Spurlock passed away apparently. Yeah, God bless him. Thoughts on Mark Hamill? Have you heard he was pressuring a woman who his son got pregnant to get an abortion? He is scum. Well, if that's the case, he should get kneecapped. And then someone should just beat the piss out of him until he's unconscious on the canvas and just keep kicking him until he's not breathing anymore. I'm not even joking. Screw Mark Hamill. He should be kneecapped. Not even joking. It scared me when I watched it and continued to eat at McDonald's. Yeah, maybe it was like reverse psychology because McDonald's like McDonald's business went way up in the aftermath of that documentary, so it did them a world of good. Could have been reverse psychology. Most underrated fast food joints are really just good local chippies. I love a chippy, man. Love a chippy. There's a few good ones here. Again, I've not had a chippy in a while. I like a chippy. I don't believe eating fast food is actually bad for you. I eat an obscene amount of any food. It's good. Yeah. Again, that's my point though. If you eat a lot of fast food, it's going to make you sick and unhealthy. If you just eat the occasional fast food here and there, you're going to be fine. It's not going to cause you any problems. If I were a professional boxer, what weight would I be? Well, if I were to get on the snack diet or something and really cut weight professionally, I could probably make 160, probably. Like it would be a stretch, but I could probably do it. If I had proper personal training and nutrition, could probably do it. I'm about probably just over 13 stone now, so I'm probably like a cruiserweight, light heavyweight right now, but I could probably get down to middleweight if I really tried. I could probably do it. There's one that's super clean near you. Well, that's good. I like milkshakes from McDonald's. I don't think I've ever had a McDonald's one. I like a McFlurry. McFlurries from McDonald's are nice. They're quite nice. My heaviest weight was 178. See. I'm probably not too far off that now. Probably. McDonald's burgers look like dog's dinner and don't taste much better. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of McDonald's, personally. I had my first falafel burger yesterday. Phenomenal. I don't think I've ever had falafel. Wouldn't mind trying it, though. Sounds nice. It looks nice anyway, what I've seen of it. Yeah, that's what I meant. An indirect war for Israel. It was, yeah, of course it was a troll question, of course. McDonald's looks and tastes evil. Replace kebabs as the go-to at the end of nights out. Yeah, because McDonald's is always bloody open. They're like 24 hours. So if you want something to eat on a night out, you probably have to have a McDonald's because there's bugger all else open besides McDonald's, My heaviest was 20 stone, which is 280. I'm now 214. And goes, wow. How tall are you, if you don't mind me asking? I'd imagine you're well over 6 foot if you were walking around at 280. If you were 20 stone. Oh yeah, KFC was way better before. I actually prefer Popeyes now. That's a lot better. If McDonald's used natural ingredients, butter, normal bread, good meat, it'd be healthy. Eating healthy is always simpler. Swapping slop ingredients with quality. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. I crucified Benny on New Vegas the other day and feel bad about it, yeah. It's funny, he was voiced by the guy who played Chandler in Friends, Matthew Perry. He voiced him. Better useless information there. Last time I ate McDonald's was when my gym mate boxed in schoolboy finals. I throw up 20 times traveling back from London. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah, after watching that, I'm craving a greasy burger. Yeah, yeah, I like a burger, man. I love a burger. I remember when cheeseburgers and mayo chicken were like 99p. Now they're 179. Yeah, it's just inflation, man. Yeah, exactly. If you eat too much of anything, it'll make you sick. You drink too much water, it can make you sick. I mean, you'd have to drink a lot of it, but you know exactly what I mean. Yeah, Nordic could make featherweight with snack. Yeah, if I had Devin Haney's diet and nutrition, quote unquote nutrition, I could make featherweight probably. I prefer to make my own mince burger with eggs and avocado. That'd be nice. I like avocado and I like eggs. Once you get over 40, you have to eat even less. I think your metabolism cuts in half. Yeah, I gain weight a lot quicker now than I did in my early 20s, for sure. 6'2". I see. One of the very best burgers I've eaten was the Born Slippy burger from Fat Hippo Double Patty. American cheese, garlic butter, mayo, braised pork, rib meat, jalapenos, hot honey. Oh man, that sounds lovely. That sounds amazing. Yeah. Domino's or Papa John? Papa John's, without a doubt. Like Domino's is okay, but Papa John's is way better. I think. I think it's better quality, better ingredients, better pizza. Plus, Papa John was based. He said the N word, so he's based. Domino's pizza is so expensive; it's ridiculous for what you get. Yeah, Papa John's is way cheaper and way better quality. At least the one that I live near is. The Wild Bill was good as well as that double patty, American cheese, smoked bacon, Cajun tater tots, barbecue sauce, ranch, and jalapeno. Man, that's amazing. I would love that. That'd be awesome. Brother, can't you show us the boxing on your channel? Wait, you want me to stream the fight? I mean, if you want me to get my channel shut down for copyright, then I could try it. You know, that's what would happen. Yeah, that's what would happen immediately, especially with like the zone and that. They'd shut me down in an instant. They're very, very copyright claim happy, if you know what I mean. My least favorite pizza place. You know, there was a place in the East End of Glasgow I went to. It was called Kadir's. That was horrible. Like we ordered a pizza there, and it was like stone cold. It tasted off. Yeah, that was probably the worst pizza place I've ever been to. Got my Thai sweet curry as well. Yeah, that'll be nice, man. Yeah, I've had a Five Guys once. I had it in Edinburgh, and I was not impressed. It was basically just minced beef in a bun with fries, and it wasn't bad, but it was like so overpriced. It cost like 30 quid for just a burger and chips, and it was nothing special. Like I would rather go to Burger King. I actually think Burger King is better quality than Five Guys. Burger King's nicer, and Burger King's cheaper. Yeah, Chisora warmed into his Five Guys sponsorship. I don't understand how people can eat pizza with pineapple on it. Yeah, that's one of them things I don't get. Like I can eat it. I've had pineapple on a pizza before, but I don't see the fuss about it. I don't get why it would be anybody's first choice. Yeah, if there's a Fat Hippo in Glasgow, I'd recommend it. Yeah, that would be interesting. I'd like to try it. Chisora needs to be deported. Came here illegally. A thug who hates. Yeah, the native people, without a doubt. I believe pizza is Little Caesars around here. Oh, is that the worst pizza? Little Caesars, yeah. Papa John costs way more than Domino's where I live. Oh, does it? See, that's weird. I'm sure here the Papa John's is a little bit cheaper because I've got a Papa John's right across the road from me, and it's quite cheap. Like I can get like a large pizza for I think less than a tenner. It's all right, you know, which I think is good quality for what they give you because it's really nice, you know. I'm gonna do that one time. I'm gonna make a video just show you guys. I'm gonna get like a large Papa John's pizza and I'm gonna eat it on camera. And I think you guys will. It's a situation where viewer discretion. Don't watch it on an empty stomach, or don't watch it if you're fasting or whatever, because that'll be the end of that, won't it? Yeah, but yeah, I think that's a good idea. You know. Burger what would oh, hang on a second, hang on. Burger King is total ass. How dare you? How dare you? Five Guys just overpriced McDonald's. Yeah, it is. Nordic, what's your thoughts on if Oscar decides to have Zepeda versus Baranchuk instead of Shakur? I don't know, man. Like, but Shakur wouldn't fight Zepeda unless the fight was probably fixed. You know. But yeah, that's an interesting fight. It's a Zapata versus Berenger. That's a better fight anyway. Any fight's better than bloody Shakur, you know, any fight's better than that. Chisora likes 5 guys in his behind, yeah. Certainly does, doesn't he? I worked at Burger King for a little while. I got hired when I was 15. Oh, really? Did they pay well in Burger King? did you get like free burgers in that? Did you get free dinners? That would be awesome. Because that would be good. Is there anyone in boxing who's more of a degenerate than Chisora? Not including the women boxers who are OnlyFans skets. Probably not actually. Like Chisora is one of my least favorite fighters. I think he's disgusting. Yeah, Usyk being one of my favorite fighters, kicking his ass was satisfying. I need to watch that again soon. I had some random small pizza from a local when I was in Liverpool the other week. It was really nice. Yeah. Sometimes like local takeaways. Sometimes they're even better than the like big brand ones. A lot of the time, you know. I've debated with my friends for years about Burger King versus McDonald's. Yeah, it's a no contest. Burger King is way better. Yeah, I'm sick of hearing about Shakur. Get that bum out of boxing. Yeah, he's crap, boring. I'm gonna waste my time watching that bum. You ever done an extended fast? I did 48 hours and hated it. People talk about the benefits. I feel like well, what I do sometimes is a couple of days a week I'll do intermittent fasting. I've never done an extended fast. I've never gone like 2 days without eating, or at least if I have, that's only been when I'm ill. Like when I'm not ill, I haven't gone longer than 2 days without eating. No, but what I do is when I do my intermittent fasting, which is usually on days when I'm not training, I won't eat anything during the day. Like I'll go to work, not eat a thing, and then I'll have my dinner when I come home or when I get back from the gym. Because if you're doing intense, because I train a lot. I train like really intense, so I need to eat to recover. If I don't, I'll just get injured. So yeah, I do intermittent fasting, but I don't do extended fasts because I don't see the point in that. If truth be told, I think intermittent fasting is a lot better. I think it's a lot more beneficial, and I feel great after intermittent fasting. I think it really makes me feel great, you know. But on that note, I'm getting a bit tired, so yeah, I think I'll wrap this one up now. Thanks for stopping by, guys. I appreciate it. It's been an interesting one. Yeah, I'm actually working tomorrow, unfortunately, so I'm gonna need to get a nice little chill tonight. So, yeah, thanks for stopping by. God bless each and every one of you, and yeah, stay vigilant. Peace out.